To the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news and reviews. Sorry, I meant pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason. And as always, I have with me my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going just fine. Get it right, Price. You're embarrassing yourself. Come on, man.
Embarrassing
Yeah.
myself. I,
Jeez.
I think it's a late hour. The funny thing is, I was on another stream, and when I started talking on that stream, I was introducing this show, and then I caught myself right before I did, and I started switching, and then I came here, and I didn't even introduce this one. But it has been a rather
Yeah.
difficult day.
Yeah, it's been a rough week, man. It's hard to believe. It's been over a week now since all of this just started getting so crazy, with the assassination and all of the backlash that's been happening from that, and it just keeps going, man. It's wild.
And it
It's really
certainly
wild.
feels different. It feels like something is different than it was,
It really does, yeah.
to me at least. Uh, I don't know, I told you last time, I hadn't been exactly the same since.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was hard for me to put my finger on it. It wasn't something that was easily explained why I felt different, but I felt different. Today was the first time I finally, I put actually in the past 24 hours, I uploaded two videos. One of them was about Jimmy Kimmel getting fired, and we'll talk about that in a second. And the other one, I finally got to doing that video about James Gunn, basically 3 or 4 days after I probably should have posted it. I couldn't bring myself to make the video, but finally I just said, got to make that video. And I made it. I don't even know if it's a good video, but I decided to go through with it and I did it. And sometimes there's a feeling where you gotta, is it like get back on the horse?
Yeah.
Is that like a saying? You gotta
Yeah,
get back on
yeah,
the horse?
sure. Yeah, get
It
back in the
really
saddle,
exists? You can
back on the
say that?
horse. Yes, yeah.
I was gonna say get back on the wagon, but that's like a
No.
drinking thing, I think.
Yeah, that's that's different.
That's a
Yeah.
different one. Yeah, no, you
Yeah,
gotta
you wanna yeah,
back in
on
the
the wagon.
saddle.
Yes,
Back in
back
the
in the
saddle,
saddle,
right?
that's yeah, another way to say it, yeah.
Is that a term? Back in the
Y
saddle? Is that a thing?
Yes, absolutely.
I did it. I did it, professor. So so basically, I did do those things, and I was surprised. I did actually prior. I did this South Park one because South Park pulled an episode of. They only pulled it from regular linear broadcasts. They didn't pull it from the streamer itself.
Yes.
That episode with Charlie Kirk. So I did a little video about that, and that was all I could bring myself to do. And for the rest of the week, I really didn't do much of anything. Then I did the Jimmy Kimmel fired video, and I'll just say this. I don't think since the day that I started doing stuff on YouTube that I've had such a divisive response to a video that I did. Which kind of surprised me because I didn't feel like I did anything special in this video. I thought it was. I was telling people I wasn't like foaming at the mouth. I wasn't cursing or having meltdowns. Sometimes you have those kind of YouTubers, and I don't have anything against them, but you know what I mean? That they're like cursing all over the place, and it's like foaming at the mouth at how much they're upset. I thought it was a very. I think you saw my Jimmy Kimmel video, right?
Yes.
It was a very well balanced and kind of calm explanation of what I believe was going on. I wasn't being like a complete douche. I thought that I was just explaining what the circumstances looked like to me, and I thought that relatively speaking, it was rather decent. Not only that, ever since I did the video, more information kind of surfaced that I actually already talked about in my video. Meaning, there were some things that became a bit clearer, but I didn't even have that clarity while making it, and still the video addresses them. So, as far as I was concerned, I thought I did a pretty decent job. But by the looks of at least some of the comments and some of the reactions, even like behind the scenes I got, I understand that that video must have upset some people, and it kind of on the one hand, I want to say, you know what, I stand by what I reported, and that was the right thing to do, just report it the way it is. On the other hand, I never enjoy seeing people getting upset and like being unhappy. It's not that I didn't mean for people to be unhappy. I guess some people today, if they hear a story that they don't feel good about, then they get upset at the messenger.
Hmm.
and I'm not 100% sure why, but that's, I guess,
Interesting.
the
Yes.
reality that we live in. The only other time that I've had a situation that was divisive, and it was less divisive than this, was I once made a video about, I think, Godzilla X Kong or whatever that movie is. Remember that movie?
Oh, yes.
It
Jeez.
I basically did a review that I said this movie is very, very stupid. I said I enjoyed looking at the creatures, it was fine. The movie is so stupid, and I just did some review, and it wasn't even I even said, like, I it's fine if you like the creatures, it's just the story is really dumb. It was such a vanilla type of, review. I had, like, legitimately a wave of people unsubscribe, people getting very angry. So that was the only 2 times on YouTube to date. Godzilla and Kong and Jimmy Kimmel. Those are the 2 that somehow it's funny because I've been, like, reporting on crazy things for years. It's funny that these 2 things were the biggest issues.
Yeah, that whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, man, it's gotten so out of hand today. So many people just losing their minds over this whole thing, and then we've seen just this nonstop. Of course, what happens anytime somebody gets called out on the left? What do they have to do? They got to make it about Trump. Oh, well, no, it wasn't us. Trump did it. No, it was, I didn't do anything wrong. This is all about Trump. Trump. And they have to constantly sort of, skirt around the truth as much as they possibly can, brush up against the truth just a little bit, but then twist it in their own direction. It is so ridiculous what has been going on today with people talking about this. First of all, Kimmel hasn't been fired. He has not been terminated from his job. His show has been temporarily put on hiatus. It's indefinite. It means they don't know when it's going to come back, but it's been put on hiatus. So that first, people have been screaming, "Oh, no." We don't know what exactly is happening with that show at this point. Kimmel has not been terminated. He's not been fired. His show is on hiatus. It's on hold until they decide to start airing it again. And then they start screaming and yelling, "Oh, Trump! Trump was angry. Trump big mad. Orange man bad, and he take down show because he no like free speech." ABC and Disney decided to take Kimmel off the air, not because of threats from Donald Trump, not because Donald Trump, orange man bad. They took it down because two, not one, but two media conglomerates that they work with said, "We're not airing your show. We're not airing Kimmel anymore because what he said was irresponsible. What he said were lies about Charlie Kirk and the assassination, and we're not having it. So we're not going to air his show. We're going to put something else on in its place." And ABC, Disney decided, okay, well we're going to put the show on hiatus for a while because based on the response that they got from those stations. We're talking about, I believe it was two different media companies, right, Price? It was Sinclair and Nexstar,
Something like that,
and
yeah.
then I think all together between the two, they have like 39, 40 ABC affiliates. Or maybe higher than that. I might get the numbers wrong here. But they, there's quite a few, but between the two of them, probably closer to 50. And they said, "Yeah, we're just not going to air Kimmel's show," you know. And then again, you had everybody who was, on all of these, news stations, everybody who's on CNN and MSDNC goes on and starts saying, "Oh, can you see? Oh, free speech, free speech, free speech." Trump is bad and he's taking this down. He doesn't like that they told bad jokes about Trump. Please. He tells nasty, awful jokes about Donald Trump every single night, and he has for the last 6 years, 7 years. Well, like nonstop. More than that, 10, close to 10 years now, I guess. He's telling, saying awful things about Donald Trump, making fun of him nonstop. That is not what caused this, people. You're deflecting from the reality of what he said.
Yeah, I also don't think that any of the affiliates or anybody would care about any of this if it didn't touch upon that Charlie Kirk thing. The second that he
Yeah,
tried to there's actually rules, and I've said this in my video.
there
I
are
I
indeed.
wish, I did the video, I think I did it last night, and it was at a late hour, and I had the general info, but I didn't have every single detail. There are certain rules that if you have, like, a major station like ABC, NBC, and CBS, you
Yep.
have to abide by those rules. Now, one
Yep.
of the things, and I hope that I'm wording it correctly, you cannot change the facts pertaining to what's considered a major crime or a catastrophe. You can't knowingly reinvent facts surrounding that. That is an actual rule. It's not that I'm just telling you this. It's not a trust me, bro. I looked at some rules today. That is one of the rules that you're not allowed to do. Now, the second that he got in there and started reframing the narrative of what happened to Charlie Kirk and who's behind the what happened to him, I think that at that point he triggered that rule, meaning one could argue that that thing that he's not allowed to do, he did. Now, I'm sure that in his eyes, and I already saw it in some of these Hollywood reporters and whatever that are running interference, that the way he worded the sentence that he said, he thought that he was being very clever, and somehow he thought that he was kind of in a gray area that maybe nobody would notice. And apparently, between the affiliates who did notice and didn't like what he said, and at the same time also the FCC who also didn't like what he's doing, suddenly Disney woke up and found themselves in a giant mess, because if the affiliates don't want to see him and the FCC wants to start investigating if he did something wrong, that really caused them to become worried. And to top all of this off, and I said it in my video, it's not like Jimmy Kimmel is delivering the best ratings for them. He's another one of those cases like Colbert. It's almost like a liability. He could get their whole license in trouble. Their affiliates don't want to talk to him, and at the end there's like 5 viewers watching him, and they're thinking to themselves, why are we paying him so much money? Even with Colbert, I feel like that whole situation with Paramount, they wanted to make it seem like Trump has something to do with it, but honestly I feel like they wanted to unload Colbert the same way they unloaded Corden. I think that they've had it with paying people tons of money for these late night shows that are not producing any results anymore, and I feel like Jimmy Kimmel gave them the exact out that they were looking for.
Mhm. Yep. There are actually numerous rules, that apply, from the FCC, specifically to these stations that have to be licensed. They receive a broadcast license from the FCC. So there are actually numerous rules that this could be a problem for ABC, based on the way that the FCC applies the rules. There's a rule against hoaxes, that knowingly presenting information falsely. So that could be a problem. There are rules against personal attacks by on-air personalities. There are rules against, presenting only a single viewpoint, like the fairness doctrine. There's various other things like politically editorializing on something and presenting it in a different way. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend I am. But there's a lot of different ways that, including libel and all sorts of other stuff potentially that could fall into this. But the real problem was pretty straightforward. He manipulated the facts and lied openly to his audience, to the people who were watching the show, saying, "Oh, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang." First of all, he has to, you know, very specifically try to call out people who are Trump supporters as some sort of, violent organization, a gang. The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of their own. We already know. There's already been plenty that's come out about this to show this kid was not MAGA. This kid was not a fan of Donald Trump. That's BS. And he knew it. He's not he's not getting up there and saying something and oh, well, I thought it was different. No, he knows that this Tyler James Robinson, who assassinated Charlie Kirk, that he is not a Donald Trump supporter. He is not MAGA, right? He knows that, but he got up there and lied about it because, and then tries to impugn people on the right, saying that they're using this to score political points, which is just, I mean, insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think that if anything, this proves that he acted in bad faith because what it looks like to me, I don't know how the FCC sees it, or I don't know exactly how everybody's going to approach it, but I think that there's a bad faith effort going on here because by the time he quote unquote told those jokes, he already knew, like you said, what the background of the guy is. So he's not being truthful here. And it's not just like he's telling an edgy joke. He's actually trying to manipulate the truth. And I'll get to that in a second, but he's trying to manipulate the truth and he's doing it in bad faith because he's like, oh, they're desperately trying to frame him as not a this. He thought that maybe
Yeah.
with that wording, he can get away with it because there's
Mhm.
something about it that, like, if you were in court and you were talking to a lawyer, maybe somebody could claim that he's wording it in a way that he's not necessarily saying that he is MAGA or not MAGA, but like the bottom line is his whole quote unquote joke is being done in bad faith. And I'll tell you something. This is also the product of him and Colbert for the past maybe since 2016 transforming what used to be late night shows that were funny and they
Yeah.
were kind of for everybody and would bring people together. They've been sitting with TDS whining about, like, Trump 24/7 for since 2016. And let me tell you something. Back in 2016, I feel like my interest in politics and things like that was far less. I couldn't really care less if they liked Trump or didn't like Trump. Sometimes I would turn it on because, like, it was a late hour and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll see a few jokes. And this is so before you and I even knew each other. I'm talking to you years ago when they started this, and I saw it and I said to myself, man, this doesn't really feel very fun for me as kind of a late night show.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking to myself, all the stations talk about politics and Trump and do all that stuff all the time. I kind of want to have 30 minutes, at least at the time I was thinking. I want to have like an hour and something at night that maybe a few people tell some jokes that it's fun. You see some cool musicians performing, maybe have, a conversation with some actors, actresses. I was, I guess, a lot more naive then. And I'm just like,
Sure.
yeah, that would be nice. But then when I saw Stephen Colbert sitting there and just talking about Trump over and over again, I just started saying to myself, first of all, he's not funny. Like, it's not, it stopped being funny. And the same with Kimmel. And it's like they're just whining and whining. They just sound like bitter losers. And you'd think that they did that then for a little bit and then just went on to, going back to doing comedy. But no, they wouldn't let it go. They would not let it go. And they've been used to doing this since 2016 until now for 9 years. They've been sitting around and, saying the worst things they could 24/7, like, not 24/7, but anytime that you give them, a stage to do that again and again and again and again. And it's
Mhm.
like, guys,
Yeah.
it's not what your job is. It's not your job description. You were never supposed to be politicians. What's his name? Jimmy Kimmel started off on a show called The Man Show where there
Yeah.
were like ladies jumping around on trampoline and he
Yeah. Big-breasted women jumping around trampolines and him dressing up in blackface
right, he would
to pretend.
drink
Yeah.
beer, dress up in like black whatever, and like there were ladies jumping around, And somehow at some point he's like, no, now I'm a serious guy. I want to talk about politics all the time. It's like, it's not for you. It's really not for you. It's best that you don't do that. It's not your specialty. It's not even like he was the best comedian to begin with. He was just kind of okay. But if he would have just stuck to trying to be entertaining, maybe he could have somehow gotten away with it as sort of a mid-level, half watchable, comedian type.
Yeah.
But that ship has sailed, and all he does is whine and complain. And the thing is that
Oh,
it's
no,
not.
no, he doesn't just whine and complain, Price. He also cries.
He cries. I forgot. Yeah, he likes to cry. And not only does he like to cry, you're right. He does like to cry. And the other thing that he likes to do is it's like these clever, and we've seen it before, these kind of manipulating narratives. There was something with Gavin Newsom that I remember that like Gavin Newsom completely messed up, and there were fires all over California. And then Jimmy Kimmel comes out and starts like doing all these like mental gymnastics to try to like help him and protect him and sing his praises and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know. He's just I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, yeah. And there's numerous videos out there, people just talking about Jimmy Kimmel and all this stuff. Oh, free speech. You don't believe in free speech? Well, I got news for you. Do you know what the First Amendment is? The First Amendment and ensures things like free speech and freedom of association, freedom of religion, all this stuff. Freedom of the press. Yep, it does. And I didn't see Jimmy Kimmel being arrested. I didn't see him being charged with anything. He wasn't rounded up by the Gestapo or whatever. The First Amendment and free speech do not apply to employment. Employers can end your employment. They can terminate you for any number of reasons. Most states in the United States are what we call at will states. The employment is what we say is at will, meaning that literally, unless there is some sort of ironclad contract that you have signed, and usually even those have back doors, you can be terminated for any reason at any time by your employer. They don't even need a reason to fire you, unless they
Especially
are specifically violating certain rules, that have to do with specifically with employment. Like if they're terminating you because you are too old, or they're terminating you because of your race or whatever. There's rules about that, but free speech, that's a government thing. That's saying that the government cannot impede on your free speech. They cannot create laws abridging your free speech. That doesn't say that you can't lose your job because you said something like a dumbass and offended people, offended your employer, and they no longer want to be associated with you.
right. And there's a few things that people have been talking about online. First of all, the one thing that people were saying, oh, you all said that you didn't like cancel culture, but now you're loving cancel culture. And I think that this isn't a fair assessment because it's not exactly the same as the cancel culture. What a lot of the people that went through cancel culture, what happened to them was it was people like Kevin Hart. Somebody said he's supposed to host the Oscars, and then they said, "Oh, do you know that 10 years ago he made a joke about a gay person
Yeah,
online?" And they said, "Okay, well, he can't do it then. We can't let him host the show because 10 years ago he once posted a tweet, and it resurfaced. Somebody found it, and he can't host it anymore." That's considered cancel culture. That is considered,
yeah,
something that you're doing. You're basically trying to find something in this person's past, no matter how many years you have to go back, find something to try to discredit him and make him look bad and possibly just lose his livelihood. Most of the time, it was over petty, stupid crap, and you didn't even know why these people were doing this. But yet, the more kind of mainstream media and backed by these kind of left voices, maybe more far left, but a lot of this kind of mentality was just to destroy people's lives and livelihoods and try to find things like in their past.
yeah,
This is not the situation with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel had a job. Now, part of his job is that he has to make sure that the affiliates are happy and that he doesn't do anything that the FCC are going to get involved and get upset. In one fell swoop, he managed to basically piss off all of the affiliates, I think, ever, and the FCC. And in 2 seconds, Disney were about to have a situation on their hands where all their affiliates are gone, and the FCC wants to launch an investigation. At this point, probably the only thing they could immediately do is first of all say, okay, we're suspending him indefinitely. He's not even going to be here. We're stopping all of this. And now maybe they're checking what they have to do. Now it could be that if they do like a review and they decide that what he did maybe is a gray area, maybe something like that, maybe they cut him a check and they say, here's a check, get out of here, we don't need you,
Yeah.
and reach some kind of settlement. Maybe they just say, based on your contract, we can just tell you to go now. You haven't upheld, you can't do this, and you have to go.
Yeah.
And people
I
were
think
saying,
it might just be an easy way out for them when they were probably planning to cancel his show anyway.
probably whenever you're absolutely right. Whenever they had a contract renewal, like Colbert, whenever they had a contract renewal, they probably would have gotten rid of him anyways. But now, maybe through some kind of morals clause or something that they can say, or that he caused damage for them, there's cause, then they can tell him to go. There was one guy in my comments in the video that I posted. He's like, you hate free speech now. It's like, no, I don't hate free speech. And then he's like, how would you like it if somebody went to your YouTube channel, like Warner Brothers, and said something about you? It's like, I don't work for them. You know what I mean? If Warner Brothers paid me, I'm going to be honest with you, and Professor, I'm honest in a way that I've never been honest to you. If Warner Brothers paid me, let's say $10 million a year to stand around and tell jokes, okay? And then the movie Superman comes out and they tell me, listen, we pay you $10 million a year, you better not say you don't like Superman. You better not say that. You know what I would say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I understand. I understand the situation. I will not say that that movie sucked. I won't say it. For $10
And
million
and then
dollars,
all you have to do is just disclose that you're receiving money from the company, and then you just don't talk about it,
right.
right?
Or I would just avoid any conversation with it.
Yeah.
There's like a stream talking about a Superman. I'm gonna be on some tropical island, enjoying my vacation. I don't need to be on streams talking about that movie, because if somebody's just gave me $10 million and part of that $10 million is that I'm not saying that, then that's fine. And Jimmy Kimmel is not on some kind of like UHF access, this kind of public access. He is on one of the three major networks which have like the most scrutiny, and they have to uphold the most rules. And if he's on there, this idea that somebody was writing in my comments, one of those people that then like unsubscribed for me or whatever it is, he was saying he has a contract that he could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't
Nope.
doesn't work. You can't be on a network and
Mm-mm.
quote unquote do whatever you want.
No, you
That's
can't.
not how
Nope.
those contracts work.
Yeah. We do have some Rumble rants from his foes. Before we get there, though, here I just throw out a hypothetical scenario here, Price.
What is it? I can't hear you. Well, hypothetically, Professor, I think that's a wonderful idea. You've done it again. What was the
They did
what,
not want me to talk about my hypothetical scenario, Price.
what was the hypothetical scenario that you disappear and never return?
I just disappeared. Okay, so all right, hypothetical scenario here. All right, it's summer of 1968. Okay, just
Okay.
imagine summer of 1968. Robert F. Kennedy just been murdered. It's only been a couple days since the assassination, and there's still a lot of confusion. Everyone's trying to figure out what's happening, but it's already been made pretty clear that the assassin's motivations in attacking RFK and targeting him were because of his support for Israel. That was the reason. So there's still a lot going on. There's still a lot of confusion. There's all sorts of stuff happening, but it's kind of we're kind of starting to get the picture, right? That we kind of know what happened and why he was targeted. And then just a few days after this very tragic event, Joey Bishop. Joey Bishop used to be he was a comedian. He was an entertainer. He was also had a late night show, and so he goes on the air for his late night show, And while he's doing his little monologue before he gets to interviewing, his guests and stuff, he goes on the air, Joey Bishop, and he says, "Well, we hit some new lows over the weekend. The Democrat gang desperately is trying to characterize this kid who murdered Robert F. Kennedy as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it." What
Yeah, that probably
happens to
wouldn't be
Joey
very well
Bishop?
received.
Yeah, what happens to Joey Bishop?
He's done for. You'll never see him again.
Yeah, his show's gone. Stations and viewers all over the country would be calling for his head. His remarks, his just unconscionable, counterfactual remarks would be enough for network executives to just, just shit their pants and come down on him like a ton of bricks. Regulators at the FCC would be looking to seize licenses. They would be also, because that would be absolutely unconscionable for someone to go on late night and talk about that assassination and misrepresent what happened, to try and say that, oh, we don't know, it must have been the Democrats that came out and assassinated him.
It wouldn't be well
That is a
received.
ridiculous. If you put it, that is exactly what has just happened. You had somebody who's supposedly an entertainer with an audience, well, frankly, not that big of an audience, but an audience bigger than we have, that on a nationally televised station that has to follow FCC rules. They have
Hey,
to
there have
follow.
been times that we had quite an audience. Don't
Well,
knock
that's
our
true.
audience. I'm
Maybe
not saying every time.
maybe got a bit bigger audience than Kimmel's a couple times, maybe. But yeah, no. But went on the air and then deliberately misrepresented the facts that are known to try and he claims they're the ones trying to score political points when he is clearly doing that same. He's doing the same by trying to lay the blame on a particular group of people that we already know that's not the case. So it's absurd. It's blatantly just ridiculous to say that Kimmel is blameless in this and, oh, he was just telling a joke. The part that people were offended by was not the bit that he did with Trump, where he's like, "Oh, I guess he's in the fourth stage of grief, which is construction." Like
Nobody
that,
would have said anything.
I don't care about that joke. It's a stupid joke. It's dumb and it doesn't offend me. You can make fun of Trump all you want. It was the misrepresenting of the facts of what's happened with this whole thing, and his continued insistence to try and lay the blame for what happened to Charlie Kirk on a group that it's just not the case. And we know now that we've started to see Discord messages, we've started to see other stuff that's been leaking out. We have supposedly these text messages. I don't know, the text messages seem a little weird, like maybe they were
Like
edited a little bit,
they planned them in
or
advance or something.
that, yes, that they were planned in advance by him and his roommate's lover, uh, as cover for the roommate in case he got caught. The roommate wouldn't be held responsible, right? Because there's this supposed note that he left, but then the note disappeared. He says he destroyed it, and then there's another note that he took a picture of. It's it's all so bizarre. It's so weird. But anyway, yeah, this whole thing is, people have just gone overboard. Oh, free speech. No, he deliberately said something that was counter to all the facts that we have now, and that's extremely offensive. Essentially blaming the people who cared and loved for Charlie Kirk, the people that were his friends, the people who were, part of, his political party, saying it's their fault. Specifically saying MAGA, basically blaming Trump and his supporters for the death of Charlie Kirk, and that's disgusting, right? We got some rumble rants here from Istophobos.
Okay, let's
What was
let's
that?
look at them. Let me see
Yeah,
for a
he's
second.
there's 3 of them. Starts with, the first one's dollar for Next Star Media. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so this one is one from Istophobos for $1. Nexstar Media owns 28 ABC affiliates and Sinclair owns 38. In total, they own 66. However, because of the varied market size between both of them, they control about 90% of the market, which is
Yeah,
why if you've pissed off 90% of the affiliates, you are in deep trouble. Deep
yeah,
trouble.
yeah. So yeah, this goes into exactly the rest of my thought process. Thank you for doing the research on this, Ista. So yeah, is to focus another dollar here. If they ran the show rejected by 90% of the market, the amount of money they would have to return to advertisers would be devastating. Yes, exactly. It is not the channel, the ABC. They did not turn this off because of what Trump said or what the FCC said, or even necessarily what was happening with the affiliates. And I think Istifos has got one more here for
Yes.
another dollar. Yeah, yeah. If this wasn't Trump or the government, or this wasn't Trump or the government or ABC or Disney, it wasn't even the affiliates. It was the market expressing well exactly. It was the advertisers. The advertisers and the money that they would have had to pay back to those advertisers for all of the audience that would have been lost, for all of the advertising that had already been bought on Kimmel's show, that would have been a huge mess for ABC. It's different if they take the show off the air versus if they air the show and nobody watches.
Yeah. And
So,
that all
yeah.
these affiliates aren't showing it. This was just
Yeah.
he created a shitstorm. But I said something to somebody today, and this is the part that I think that most people are missing, and this is just my impression. Sometimes there's also a situation where you have to use a little bit of common sense, okay? And I think that in that sense, uh, Jimmy Kimmel was greedy and dumb, and I'll explain what I mean. A guy was killed, okay? This guy is a close friend of the vice president of the United States. Close friend, like they used to, spend time, their families together. This was a personal friend of the vice president. In addition, perhaps maybe with the age that Trump is at and what he does, I don't know if he was necessarily Charlie Kirk's best friend. That every second they're sitting there and whining and dining together. I think that he respected Charlie Kirk, but you know who was a closer friend to him? Donald Trump Jr. And in addition, J.D. Vance. These are people that are very close to the president, okay? And the vice president is the vice president. If you know one of their closest ally and personal friends, father of two children and a husband, was murdered, and based on all the evidence that was gathered, it was by a person that was at least influenced. I'm not saying that all the people on the left, they all are going to do that, but I'm saying there are voices in the far left, especially those kind of online ones. And I mentioned that in my video. I didn't want to give them the credit to say which Twitch streamers I'm talking about, but there's some of those kind of voices that are very extreme, calling for people to action, like violence and things like that. And him trying to twist all of that and make it seem like it's not that and it's something else is something that was never going to sit well with anybody. So on one hand, if he wanted to piss off the administration in a way that was like crossing a red line even for him, he already did that. In addition, just in general, that he would think that people in middle America would accept that kind of rhetoric and behavior from him, that they'd be so stupid that they don't know what he's trying to do. That was also very greedy and dumb of him. And it's another one of those symptoms that they sit on, like in LA, thinking that this little bubble they live in represents what America is, when most of America have nothing to do with him or all of his millions or his lifestyle. He's just a pompous fart sitting there thinking that he's more clever than everybody, and he's not more clever than anybody, and everybody could see right through him and his bullshit. So you have the affiliates, and finally, just there's a rule that you're not even allowed to do that because it was considered a major crime and you're changing the facts of it. So that's when you bring in the FCC and a possible, taking away your license, which is even worse than the affiliates somehow and the advertisers. It's a shitstorm. Now, some people could claim, well, once there was a shitstorm, like, Trump really wanted the FCC to investigate, like he pushed you, whatever. If everybody's looking at you with a magnifying glass and everybody's really upset, and this is a personal friend of the vice president and the president's son, and he was just murdered, maybe some common sense, tell a joke about something else about anything else in the world. Find one thing to joke about that's not you being a complete douchebag asshole. One joke, Professor.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Do you get what I'm
uh,
saying? Forget about
yeah.
all the business and the rules. No common sense. He couldn't even sit
No.
there and think
Oh,
to
no, no,
himself,
no. He didn't know. No common sense whatsoever. He's it's fairly common actually for the for people on the left to be rather uh not particularly interested in looking at themselves and and they're I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah. Narcissism is certainly part of it. I would say, without a doubt. But yeah, there's not being particularly self-aware. It's
no, he
so bad.
wasn't self-aware. It
No,
was really dumb behavior. This is I'm just telling you, even if it wasn't Jimmy Kimmel, if it was anybody else, if it was me in that position, if it was anybody, whatever the circumstances are, sometimes you got to read the room. When the whole nation, when there's such tensions and the tensions are so high, and you're a late night comedian, maybe it was an opportunity that once in his life he can just go out with all of his divisive politics and trying to just be a little bit amusing and focus on something that maybe will put a smile on a few people's faces. Maybe try to be a little more less extreme and less political. But he didn't use that opportunity to do that. And he, yeah, it's hubris. That's what John Z said. It's hubris.
hubris. Sure.
That he would think that he would do all of this and everything would be well received is really dumb on his end.
Yeah.
And that even doesn't even matter the politics. It doesn't matter what he said. It doesn't matter anything. It's like
Yeah.
you're supposed to also, when you think about your career and business and things like that and the responsibility and the kind of money you get paid, there are certain things that you have to think of. And I feel like all of these things were pushed aside because he was so full of hubris because he had to go all
Yeah.
political with it.
Yeah, and they have no self-awareness. They're not thinking about the people around them either. I guarantee you that Jimmy Kimmel not even once spent any time thinking about, "Oh, what if I do something and then all of these writers that work for me lose their jobs?" Or all of the grips and the cameramen and everyone else. What happens to them? I don't think he has the awareness to actually even consider that stuff. Uh, he seems, fairly conceited. Now, again, I don't know him. I do not know him as a person. I have not spent time with him. Supposedly, Adam Carolla actually, still says he's a pretty good guy, but he has definitely been, kind of twisted and messed up with all this TDS and all of this stuff, and since he started getting his at his own show, he's become more and more, gone further and further down this path and stuff. But uh, I don't know. I really don't. All I know is, who he is apparently to me on when he's on camera and when he's making his show. And this is a guy who publicly on his show wished death on people, gruesome death on people who refused to take the COVID vaccine, has made numerous just awful references to Donald Trump and members of his family. Just not jokes, just awful, saying awful things about them, and had absolutely no problem making fun of people like Tucker Carlson or Roseanne or any of those people who have been canceled and lost their jobs before, because, oh, well, free speech only matters when it's his speech, apparently. So that's a really, to me, it's kind of a conceited, asshole. That's who he is. Uh, whether
And
whether
yeah,
he's that way in person when you meet him, I don't know if that's a character he puts on. He likes to play a hugely conceited asshole on television. That's his. I don't know, but uh,
I'm also going to surprise you with something. That beyond all of his hubris and how he's an idiot, in my opinion, about his own affairs, the worst part is a show like this probably employs a lot of people, and the people that are employed there, they're probably not making the kind of money that he makes. There's people that are just kind of regular everyday people working cameras, working, the set. And when he does something like that, he's not only I'm not worried about him. He's collected enough checks from Disney that I assume that if
Oh,
he sits
absolutely.
now and does nothing from now until eternity, I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll be fine. It's just
Yeah.
that all the people that work there, if you are not an asshole, you start thinking about what about all these people that work here? Maybe a guy was murdered and there's a lot of tension and he's like friends with the president's family and the vice president. Maybe I can leave those jokes on the side now, especially between you and me. It's not there's nothing really to joke about here. I mean, yes, free speech and all that, but it's like this is a major network. This is not like what jokes do you have to even tell about this to begin with? Even the thing where he said that Trump wasn't taking it seriously, whatever it is, I didn't think that was in good taste. If he's really bitter and has TDS, could he have somehow gotten away with that joke? He could have, and if he would have just stuck to that one, maybe he could have gotten away with it. It's that extra comment about misrepresenting the background of the killer. That's the thing that it's so greedy, and that because of his stupid greed, doing something that's obviously like him thinking even it's a gray area in a situation like this, risking all these people's jobs, putting their livelihood in jeopardy for your stupid crap, that also shows that he's a douche.
Yeah. He really is. It's I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but yeah. So that like as we've kind of already said, man, there's been tons of people just racing to his defense. That Ben Stiller had a rare tweet that he sent out earlier today. And a lot of people were it was rather funny because of course he blocked anyone from replying to it. And so one of the biggest replies, he could only reply people who could follow him could reply, and so someone who he followed replied to him and basically said, "Man, that's pretty cowardly to make a statement about free speech and then prevent people from commenting on what you said." Right? And then there was a bunch of other people coming back being like, "Dude, no, you're completely off base. Like this what Jimmy Kimmel said was unacceptable. And no, he hasn't lost his job. He's just been, temporarily anyway, as far as we know at this time, he's just been suspended. But um there's been so many other people in all the news and stuff. Did you see what happened with the Daily Show? This kind of happened just right as we were getting started tonight. Right.
Didn't John Stewart? He said he was gonna go on Thursday, and instead of Monday, he wanted to do something. I didn't see. What did he whine
Well,
about it? What did he do?
I can share it with you here. Let's just take a look at what he did with the Daily Show. Oh, you gotta yeah, share it in presentation mode there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, one
sorry.
second.
That's okay. There we go.
It's funny that
Uh,
it's called TDS. I'm sorry. I don't know why
it,
it's
no, it's
funny.
extremely amusing that his show is called TDS. Yes, because that is very accurate.
From Comedy Central, it's the all-new government-approved Daily Show. With your patriotically obedient host, Jon Stewart.
My name is Jon Stewart, and welcome to the Daily Show on I'm going to guess Monday. I don't know. We have another fun, hilarious, administration compliant show.
Douche.
What are you doing? Shut up. Blow this phrase.
Yeah, that deserves applause.
So
What the hell?
coming here tonight from a real shithole. The crime-ridden cesspool that is New York City. It is a tremendous disaster, like no
You're
one's
not
ever
wrong.
seen before. Someone's National Guard should invade this place. Am I right?
Could only help actually with a crime.
Yeah. So did you see the people who were marching through New York City? Of course, now that USAID has been defunded, instead of a protest with several thousand people, it's only about 16 people.
Was that the
But
whole clip? We watched the whole clip?
that was the introductory clip there. Basically, though, as he went forward, he said some other stuff here. So he said that the First Amendment is now determined by niceness to the president. And if that isn't strong enough, then the FCC must be notified to threaten the acquisition prospects of billion-dollar mergers of network affiliates. Yeah, please. But yeah, there was protesters. Of course, like I said, it was only like 16 people walking around, yelling, all sorts of things like "F Charlie Kirk" and horrible, gross things like that. So, yeah, free speech. Go for it, you guys. Make total assholes of yourselves. Sounds great. This looks like this might be a different clip here.
Character is, but the point is, I don't know who this Johnny Drimmel live ABC character is, but the point is, our great administration has laid out very clear rules on free speech. Now, some naysayers may argue that this administration's speech concerns are merely a cynical ploy, a thin gruel of a ruse, a smokescreen to obscure an unprecedented consolidation of power and unitary intimidation, principleless and coldly antithetical to any experiment in a constitutional republic governance. Some people would say that. Not me, though. I think it's great. For more, we go to our correspondents who are live at the Donald Hand Monument. Very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate you joining us. Guys, all this swirling around, are the naysayers and the critics right? Is Donald Trump stifling free speech?
Of course not, John. Americans are free to express any opinion we want. To suggest otherwise is laughable. Ha, ha, ha. We are a nation of diverse perspectives, and we are not afraid to be different.
Ronnie, what's up with your tie? You're gonna get us in trouble. No, look, this is the only red tie I have. Okay, it's fine. It's not red. It's pink. It's not pink. It's at least salmon. All right. That's a shade of red.
It's not red enough. It's got to be mugger red.
Calm down. God, is this your first dictator?
Tiring.
Yeah, I mean, it's not funny. I don't even know what he
No.
wants. It's just exhausting.
No. And again, what do we do? Do we bring down the temperature a little bit? No. We just get out there and keep talking about how he's consolidating power, he's a fascist, and he's a dictator. Yep. The usual. Yeah. Oh, please.
Yeah, it all
God,
looks
by the
like-
way, if they were fascist, if our government were fascist, you realize none of them would be allowed to say any of those things, right?
Of course. And I still think, here's the way I see it, and this is a tough thing to explain. These guys, somebody like Kimmel, since 2016, gets up every night, does all the TDS thing over and over again, and nobody says or does anything, and that's fine. It's freedom of speech and all that. But once they're in the situation they're in now, and the tensions are high, you also know that they're looking very, very closely. Now, part of what Jimmy Kimmel and the people around him were saying was that the real reason why Trump got upset and alerted everybody to the things that he did bad was because of that joke he told about Trump. Even if, let's say, Trump thought that Jimmy Kimmel was an idiot, and he was sitting there waiting around for Jimmy Kimmel to make some big mistake that'll allow him to finally, after all these years, do something, I have to tell you something. Jimmy Kimmel did make that mistake. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Even if that's the whole thing, and he's sitting there, Trump, 8 years waiting for that moment, Jimmy Kimmel made the mistake. And that's what I was trying to even reply to people that were commenting on my video. Once he did that thing with Killer and Charlie, I think that was a huge problem. If he would have not done that, I don't think any of this would be happening. He just did that little extra trying to push the envelope and cross the line there and do that thing that he thought like he could get away with, and that was it. That was the
Yep.
straw that broke
Yeah.
the camel's back.
Yeah, again, there would none of this if he that whole little bit that he did trying to say that the killer was MAGA. That was it. The Trump stuff, like I said, he does that every damn night. Like that's the only joke he has is making fun of Trump. It's basically his whole show. He never has conservative guests on his show, and why would a conservative guest even want to go there, right? But it's it's always left wing people. It's always left wing topics. It's always jokes about Trump. That's all he's had. It's all Jimmy Kimmel's had for ages now, and that's I, I mean, yeah, he pulls in what like 300,000 people at best, like an absolutely minuscule audience for a national network.
Right.
Like the evening news gets more than 60 Minutes gets more people to watch it than than Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, I mean it's pathetic, and yeah, they've been losing advertisers, they've been losing viewers, and they're losing money, and so yeah, it was only a matter of time before the show got canceled anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just expedited this whole situation, and like we saw with CBS and Paramount, everybody's like, "Oh, it's because of Trump they did all that." I think that they were high fiving each other. They were just looking for a reason, and really, Trump is kind of the boogeyman that they can say, "Look, it's him." If they didn't already get rid of Corden, I would have told you maybe they want to continue with Colbert. Once they didn't renew Corden, it was only a matter of time before they get rid of Colbert. It's just like the optics of it, that after that whole situation they get rid of him, is exactly the optics they were looking for, where like it's seemingly somehow Trump did it, when in my opinion, in Colbert's case, it's his own poor ratings and high price that did it. And with Kimmel, that's another angle. Not only did he have the hubris, not only did he make the extra comment that everybody was waiting for him to make a mistake, and then and all that stuff. Um,
Mhm.
Also, his ratings suck, and he's not worth the money that they pay him. You have to be the dumbest person in the world to do what that guy did, in my
Mhm.
opinion, at least.
Yeah. So this is one another thing I was going to share here about this. This is from that Park Place. I'm sure there's other reporting elsewhere, but this is just where I had seen this earlier today. So reportedly, it looks like Daily Mail is where they were citing this, but that's fine.
It's
Well,
fine. I like
we'll
that
just stay
Park
here.
Place. Let's see what they
They
say.
they consolidate a lot of stuff into one place. I like to go to the original source, when I can, but they do kind of consolidate a lot of stories. So one source is claiming that apparently behind the scenes, that Jimmy is throwing a quote unquote a nuclear level fit over what has happened. And that quote, Jimmy is pissed over the decision to suspend him and the show and isn't going to take this lightly, as he is actively looking for ways to get out of his contract. This is the last straw, and Jimmy is now looking to forever break his relationship with ABC forever.
I mean, it looks like they just want him to get love, so I don't really know. It's like when the lady is like, "I'm not breaking up, you're breaking up." You know what I mean? Like, what are you
Yeah.
trying to? What is this theatrics?
Another producer painted a bleak picture of the show's staff in limbo. We're shut down indefinitely. We're all here and basically wandering around like aimless cows. Jimmy is beside himself. I've never seen him this angry. Yeah, well, uh, guess what? You poked the bear. He knew. Jimmy knew. Like you said, there was a magnifying glass, right? He was under the microscope. Everyone was under the microscope about this Charlie Kirk stuff, right? About this assassination. Absolutely everyone. We've had seemingly dozens, maybe even in the hundreds now, of teachers that have lost their jobs, been terminated, or had their licenses taken away from them because they were, showing, absolutely no sympathy whatsoever. They were not even like basic human decency, right? I read a story. I would have to go look this up, Price, but there was a story that apparently I think it was in British Columbia. I know that it was in Canada, where a substitute teacher in a class showed a a classroom of 5th graders, 10 and 11-year-old kids, Price, showed the video that you and I have seen of the death of Charlie Kirk. That brutal and graphic video, showed it on a loop in the classroom while trying to explain why Charlie's rhetoric justified his death. How messed up is that? I mean, that is sickening.
That is crazy, actually. I didn't know that that was going on.
Insane. Now this was apparently a substitute that was in a classroom at some point, whatever. But we're talking about 5th grade, 10 and 11-year-old kids who came home to their parents in tears, horrified at what they had seen at school by this person showing this to kids. I mean, you and I have seen it, Price. We both said we kind of wish we hadn't seen it. It's so violent, it's so brutal. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee something like that.
I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I regret seeing it because it's so awful, and there's a part of me that like I can't delete it, and I know that I saw it, and that's one thing. On
Yeah.
the other hand, though, seeing it really explains how real this is. So
Yes. Yeah,
it,
I
it
know what you mean.
it's not that I wanted to see it, but if you don't see it, you could think maybe this is something that's happening somewhere else to somebody. When you see something like that, you understand. It's as if like at that moment you understood that shit just got real. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You saw it.
The
You know what I'm trying to say.
the absolute brutality of it, right? That this wasn't some TV show where somebody gets shot and then lays on the ground and there's no blood anywhere, and then they say their final parting words and then have their death scene. No, it's brutal and just violent. And you're right. I mean, uh, same kind of like I wish I hadn't seen it. I actually wasn't see I was not expecting to see what I saw when
Same
someone
with
has
me.
said
I didn't think.
they were sharing this video, they were saying he's been shot, there's video of it. I was like, "Oh my God, like what happened?" And then I saw it and I was immediately just sick to my stomach. 'Cause I mean, if you saw the video, a lot of people, they saw the video. If you know anything about anatomy, if you know anything about what had happened, like I saw that video, and before anybody had said anything, I'm like, that he's dead. You don't come back from that. Like it wasn't like he took took a round in the shoulder and they rushed him to an ambulance, right? It's just insanely violent and brutal, and I knew the moment I watched it, I was like, oh my God, like he's dead. And I had been so busy that day. It was hours after this had happened when I saw the video, and it's probably only another hour later when when the news really started coming out saying yes, kind of confirming that he was in fact dead. But yeah, you're right. There's something to having actually seen it that does kind of it makes it very real.
It makes
And
it real, and you can't ignore it. It's like
yeah,
it's something that I think even transcends, and I think that maybe even some people will call them moderate left, or even some of these left, a few even celebrities or whatever you want to call them. That I think that they saw this video, and even they understood the magnitude of what they're looking at,
yeah,
the gravity of it, and what it potentially means. Because if that becomes normal, if this man with was married and has kids and sitting there to talk to some college students and have like pretty good faith debates with them, and come to talk to them, if he sits there and that's what it looks like, if that's what happened to him, everybody should be worried. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something that
hmm
I think that aside from some of those more demented ones, that it worries me that there's people that saw that and thought this is great. I think that if you're a human being, you should look at that and be like, okay, this is not good. And how, as a society, do we de-escalate whatever is going on so that we don't get more of that? And unfortunately, that's not the conclusion that a lot of people reached. Especially, I want to say, I don't want to throw all the people on the left into this brush, but there are people on the left that feel that this is all great and justified.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that there's too many of them.
Yeah. Phantom Monk was saying in the Rumble chat here is, yeah, watch Challenger in real time. Yeah. So did I. So did most school age children when that happened. That was one of those things. Like, my wife and I we've talked. We're like, yeah, we're trying to tell our kids, like, yeah, we were sitting in front of a TV because there was a teacher on this flight, and so all the teachers were like, hey, cool, let's watch the space shuttle launch because there's a teacher going up in the space shuttle, and then everything went boom, and they turned it off, and we all went back to class. And they didn't really say much else about it.
I had the
It's
same
just
situation with the Challenger. Everybody rounded us. They rounded us up. They put it there. But even that, as much as that was bad, we just saw some rocket, and they're like, "Look, it's a rocket," and then the rocket
yeah, and
blows
then
up,
it
and
went into pieces, and yeah.
right. But you're not seeing anything too graphic. It's
No,
just
no,
like,
no, no. You're not seeing the actual, it's not the same. And Elizabeth Quince also said, no, can't watch. Had nightmares for months after Trump. That's when I knew Chernovich was correct. They all want us dead. Yeah, that's, I again, I am not going to be the guy that says everyone needs to watch this. No,
no. I
not
told
everyone
people
needs.
not to watch it. I told people not
Exactly.
to
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah. It's very, it's traumatic. It's extremely violent. It's extremely traumatic, and not everybody can handle that. And I'm not saying I handled it.
I
Like I
didn't
said,
handle it well.
it made me sick to my stomach to watch that and know that I just watched the death of a man, and frankly, a good man, a man who never harmed anyone. I've seen, oh my God, seen some of the most disgusting stuff out there. People saying, "Hey, oh well, it's never okay to celebrate someone's death. People celebrated Hitler's death when he died." Like, are you literally gonna compare what Charlie Kirk has done in his life to Hitler? Because, wow, okay. Yeah, I know that's your favorite thing on the left to just call everyone Hitler, that you don't like. But no, I'm sorry, no. Hitler led a genocidal regime that was responsible for waging war and killing millions. No, uh, regardless of how demented you might be, these two things are not the same. You can't say that. It's just nuts, right? So, yeah. What's this for Mr. Phobos? We got another Rumble rant here.
Hold on one
Oh,
second.
yep.
Last month, Kimmel had 129,000 viewers in the demo, almost a 50% drop from Q1. That was a 79% drop from 2015. That's less than a Nerdrotic
Yeah, that's less
FNT.
than an FNT. That's that's
I
I
mean,
think Drinker pulls better numbers than that. That's
for
not,
sure, for sure. The thing is that I mean, I think that live those guys get maybe like 5 or 10 or whatever, 5, 10, 15, but they also have like a large following that even if they missed it, they'll go watch it. So most of those things later, if you look at them, probably have a few 100,000 views after the fact when it comes to replay and the live playing. So yeah, I'm sure that I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't more profitable. And keep in mind that Gary and Drinker, their main shows are hanging out in their living rooms. You know what I mean? It's not.
yeah, yeah.
This is a whole Hollywood setup with all these employees and all these things. And at the end, that's the best viewers that he could get. That was a huge red flag. I don't know how a guy is so full of greed and hubris when he can barely round up some people to watch him. Now, I'm not going to suggest that this is the type of numbers that we have all the time, but there have been a few occasions that even we had pretty decent numbers. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. But it ended
For
up, yeah,
whatever reasons. So
yeah,
I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not putting us in the F and T and drinker category. For us, like once in a rare occasion, we get so we're fortunate once in a long while or once in a while. But in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, he has such a huge setup. It's like the professional crew working for him. Everything is the most professional and expensive. He's in Hollywood. It's on one of the biggest networks on TV. It's like he has everything. He has all the advantages, and he can't get a few people to watch this show. And
yeah.
he's thinking
It,
to himself, how do I endanger the livelihood of like 100 people who work
yeah,
here and have to feed their families? How do I endanger them by telling some stupid joke about a guy that was just senselessly assassinated? How do I tell jokes about that?
yeah.
So sometimes, and people are like, "Don't you believe in free speech?" Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but if you're going to act like this at this moment in time and the way he acted and what he did, he's kind of an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree 100%.
You know, maybe if it was something, again, I wouldn't agree with it, but I'm saying like, if let's say it was a Netflix or something, and they gave some stand-up comedian, $10 million, and it's one of those situations that he goes out, does a set, and says the most inappropriate things. I still think that's so close after this guy's death and the way he was killed. I think that a smart comedian wouldn't even go there because there is that thing of like too soon. Definitely too soon. This feels like it was 1 minute ago. Not a great idea for jokes, it's
No, no,
sometimes I
not the place you tell jokes. You're right.
no,
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's like sometimes something bad happens and then like you have 20, 30 years later somebody refers to it as a historical event and tells a joke about it. Maybe 20, 30 years down the road, for some reason within that context and so much time has gone by, you can understand why somebody made like a reference or a joke about it. But obviously when it just happened a few days ago and it's so fresh and it really hurts for a lot of people, including for his wife and kids, I don't think that that's the time to joke. Not that I'm saying that 20 or 30 years from now it's like ideal to joke about it, but I'm saying so quickly this thing happened and you're sitting around and talking and we're trying to work it into your weird comedy routine. You have to be an idiot. That's all I'm thinking to myself.
yeah. It's pretty moronic. Yeah, and gosh, yeah. There's been so much just massive stupidity out there
He's never
in the
been
last
very
few
smart.
days.
That's the
Oh
truth.
no, no, he's not. He's not particularly smart. No. Yeah, didn't yeah. I mean, come on, Price. If I were, he's reportedly paid $17 million a year.
He
To
he
do what?
To do what? He's an
I
idiot.
could pull in a better. If you gave me $17 million, I could pull in a better audience than that
You know
on a
what?
late night show.
Dude, if they gave
I
us
guarantee it. I guarantee it. You give me that 17 million, I will work day and night to find the best guests, to find funny writers, to bring on talented people to be part of my team, and I will make the show for half of what it costs right now and bring better guests on and have more fun and have
dude,
more laughs than what Jimmy
dude,
Kimmel can manage.
if they wanted to give us like, maybe like a 3% of that budget and
Sure.
just like have us do the night owl the way that we're doing now, but like a fancier one, we could probably do that too. You know what I'm saying? I don't
I
even
could pay
need
somebody to animate my avatar for me, like
right, right, exactly. I think that, I don't want to be greedy. Let's say, they gave us like each of us $1 million a year. I think we could put on a really good show, Professor.
I think we could. I really think we could.
I think we could probably do it for like,
I
half a million.
I would stop being a professor. I would become an entertainer full time, and we would make this happen. It would
We
be
would
it would be
make
a
it
lot of fun.
happen. I would totally do it. We'd sit here every night. Like I do it even if it's like every night of the week. $1 million a year. I'll sit there, 4 times a week. We'll do the night owl every night. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to even think what we do with all that money. I mean, we could just pocket it.
Yeah.
We could do the
Oh,
same
yeah.
show and pocket it,
There you go.
and it would still be better than whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Get a, like I said, I find somebody to animate a little 3D avatar for me and everything.
Listen,
Hell, with that kind of money, I might even go on camera.
You know what? For that kind of money, I think we could just turn on the camera and sit there and do whatever. We can wear like suits and stuff or whatever you want.
There you go. There you go.
That's that is the kind of money that I think I could make it work.
Pure blood based berserker says hookers and blow. That's what you do with all the other extra money.
That's fine, you know.
I mean, what else? What else would you do with it, right? I mean,
Right.
you got to keep, you got to spread the wealth around a little bit. Somebody needs to, someone else needs to benefit, right? Yeah, but just wild how much just the hypocrisy. And of course people will say, oh, well, no, you're the hypocrites because you said that cancel culture was bad and now you're canceling people. And it's like it's different. It's a different thing. This is not, like you said, Price, this is not about tracking down old tweets from somebody who said, oh, he said such and such thing and that makes you racist, or that's what makes you some sort of hater of this or whatever, and so we need to shut you down and make sure you lose your job. Like the stuff that happened, like the stuff that happened with James Gunn with Marvel, right? I never agreed with that. I thought that was ridiculous. He did say some really offensive stuff.
It was,
but also it was from a time in his life when he was, that's the kind of, he was being a provocateur. He was intentionally saying things that were supposed to be provocative and kind of nasty and whatever. That was kind of the personality that he had at the time. And yeah, I mean, they're kind of offensive, but that's all they were. They were offensive. They weren't criminal. And he had a following of like a few hundred people on Twitter at the time, right? So I mean, it's ridiculous to go back. Oh, we're going to go back 10 years. We're going to dig up this thing that you said, and we're going to say, oh, we got to get rid of you. And that was absurd. I said so at the time. It was ridiculous. There was no reason for what happened to canceling him. I'm not going to say there's not some people who haven't deserved to kind of be shut down and taken out of the workforce.
I mean,
taken out of Hollywood.
It's certainly, his jokes were very weird.
They
They're
were.
like when somebody tells those jokes, it's kind of
Yeah.
very weird. At the same time,
pedophilia kind of stuff and like kind of
very
it's
strange.
like,
Yes.
ugh. Yeah.
I did want to show you something that I thought was interesting. And I actually, some of the things he said here, at least some of it, I think, was stuff that I kind of touched upon in my video before seeing this. But
Do it.
I like this thing, so I'm gonna try to share it. Hold on. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, I got to chime in here. Everyone's talking about Jimmy Kimmel being suspended indefinitely from ABC from his show, stemming from comments he made. One, I guess he was insinuating that the Charlie Kirk assassin was far-right MAGA, one of their own followers. And then two, he made a joke about Trump not really caring or being sympathetic that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Now, I think I have a unique take on this because I run a fairly large media company. I also do media. So you're seeing a lot of people right now, and I tweeted about it right away, being like, cancel culture, the right is so hypocritical. They're so anti-cancel culture, and now they want cancel culture. To me, this is not cancel culture at all. Like, what cancel culture is when you don't like somebody, say me, and then you're like, we want to get rid of Dave. So we're going to comb through everything Dave has said for the past 20 years, and we're going to find things we don't like that don't fit in this time period or whatever. Not just me, anybody. But that's cancel culture, digging through old tweets, videos, things said to get rid of a person. Your goal going in, it's like, I'm going to get rid of this person I don't like, and I'm going to dig up everything that this person has done their entire life and find some smoking guns and put pressure on people to get rid of them. This, what happened in Kimmel, I would say, is consequences for your actions in real time, statements in real time. He made jokes that people didn't like. He tried to say that the assassin was part of the far right magnet. He's not. And then Sinclair Communications was like, this is garbage. Our people that we in our markets, they don't want to see this. We're preemptively pulling them off the air, kind of forced ABC's hand. Now, this is not a free speech issue to me. I've always said to our employees, listen, you guys can say whatever you want on your personals. You can do this, but your speech has consequences. If advertisers, if people start putting pressure on me because you're saying things that they don't like, this is a capitalist market. Like when the juice isn't worth the squeeze, decisions have to be made. And for Kimmel, his ratings are down. And by the way, I'm not like, I hated Colbert. I found him annoying to watch. Kimmel I don't watch, but, I take it or leave it. But his ratings are clearly down. He's making a ton of money. He's creating clearly headaches for ABC, and the affiliate then drops him. To me, this is like a business. He's not a journalist. This isn't freedom of the press. He's not reporting, digging. He's telling jokes. He's a comedian. He works for somebody else. Whenever you work for a company or work for somebody else and you are making statements or doing things that are creating headaches for the people up top, you're forced with a decision. What do? Here they decided the easiest move, ABC, Disney, was to suspend them. For example, when Penn bought Barstool Sports, one of the things we agreed upon, one of the guardrails, one of the things I had to agree when we did the deal is that I and Barstool would not make fun of politics and government employees because the government controlled the gambling licenses and they didn't want to create headaches trying to get these licenses. So I agreed to that. That's part of being in business. I wasn't allowed to create headaches for my employer. I knew that. And if I did make fun of, let's say, the Massachusetts gambling regulators, who are the worst people on earth, and trust me, with every fiber of my bone being, I want to make fun of, I would have gotten fired or in trouble. And I wouldn't have been like freedom of speech. I would have known this is what I signed up for. I'm creating more headaches for my employers than benefit that I'm bringing. Essentially, that's what Kimmel's doing right now, right? He's creating more headaches than he is bringing in benefit. Again, this isn't freedom of the speech. This isn't cancel culture. This is Jimmy Kimmel isn't being successful enough right now, right here in time, for all these headaches to be worth it to keep him on the air. And that's in any field. Anytime you work for somebody else, anything you say that creates giant headaches for your boss can end up in career repercussions. That is not cancel culture. That is living in a capitalist society.
I thought surprisingly, even though he's kind of a weirdo sometimes, I think surprisingly, he actually, I agree with what he said.
I'm not the biggest fan of Dave Portnoy. He's said some stuff. He's done some stuff that not his biggest fan. But I will say this: I think he's genuine, right?
Yes.
I think he is a genuine guy. When he's sharing his thoughts, he's sharing how he really feels, how he really thinks about things, and he's been open to being challenged and rethinking some stuff in the past. So I do have some respect for. He's like I said, I'm not his biggest fan, but generally I feel like when I see him talking, when I see him sharing opinions and stuff like that on, on social media, I feel like that's that's him. Right. That's him actually sharing who he really is. He's not trying to he's not trying to, manipulate the media or anything like that. Right. Again, I don't know the guy, but he seems pretty genuine when he does tend to share those things. And Elizabeth Quinn mentioned him being blackmailed by those women. Yeah, that was horrifying. That was ridiculous. I remember hearing all about that.
I mean, the thing is that they basically, some reporter sat around and looked at his Instagram page and tried to find any woman she saw ever on his Instagram page that he was like hanging out with to try to get information for them that they'll say bad things about him. And they did it very systematically. Yeah. It's just like, that is not there comes a time where rather than reporting the news, you seem to be creating it. And that's what I felt like they were doing with him. It's
Yeah.
like they were trying to invent the story in order for him to be canceled. And say what you want about him. I will say that maybe because of the way he is and he's just straightforward in talking and
Yeah.
head on addressing everything, I think that he managed to sort of not let them do that. And man, did they try. Then they
Oh
then he
yeah. They really tried to cancel him and destroy his life.
they went all in. I mean, he has like and again, like you said, I understand he's probably a complicated guy, and I don't sit all day and watch all of his stuff or like hang on by his every word. But I'll tell you this: he did like a festival that he brought a lot of like people with pizzas and stuff like that. That he did something in New York, and then you had, I think it was the Washington Post, like a reporter sort of in some slippery, clever way, trying to scare the people that are coming to this festival and scare sponsors away and things like that by saying like, "Oh, like I'm from the Washington Post. Are you worried that all the sponsors want to pull out because of his like past?" When she's basically just inventing it. You know what I mean? There were things going on there, and at that point, I think what he did was he actually recorded the call and then he uploaded it. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah, I
after he did
remember a little bit of it, yeah.
after he did that, I thought like, "Man, that lady is done." Never
Yeah,
heard from that again. And
yeah.
not only that, as much as I know the guy does a lot of stupid things and maybe he's annoying, when it came to the couve, during the couve, the guy went out and he really went above and beyond to try to help businesses.
He
In some
absolutely did, and I really respected that, like, he was really out there trying to help small business and trying to help, keep businesses afloat, and I really did, respect that. That was impressive. Obviously, being someone who works, as someone who's a teacher in the business field, I know a whole lot of people in startups, small businesses, and, that really did mean a lot to a lot of people.
Uh, John Z says I disagree as a schmuck. Listen,
Yeah,
he can be
sure,
a
okay.
schmuck. He can be a schmuck and still do some positive things. During the
I'm not gonna
couve,
argue with you, John C.
I'm not gonna argue either, but I will say this: there's a few things he did during the coup. First of all, very early on, when like people weren't going to restaurants or doing whatever, he went to all these pizza places, was hyping them up. He saved. I know it sounds weird because he looks like such a schmuck, like you said. There are businesses that this man single handedly saved. That if he walks in today, like these small kind of mom and pop type of pizzerias or whatever, these places that have been around for a long time, that just by doing reviews and bringing people there, people would throw him like a red carpet there if he went now. Not only that, he then started a fund that he himself contributed also his own money, but then called a lot of other people with money and made them contribute. And he ran this whole like foundation that he finds businesses that have been around for many years and they're in trouble and started like personally bailing them out. Every business like that, a lot of times it's like a family business, it's families, it's employees. I can't ignore the good work that this guy did. I know that sometimes you look at him and you're like, man, this guy looks like I don't want to say bad things, but there's certainly some things that pop in your mind when you see him, and not all of them are good, but I can remember at least that there were some good things that he did. Also, the final thing I'll say, when that lady from the Washington Post, I think, was trying to do a gotcha, she thought that all those people would cooperate, but a lot of those people were people that I think he helped save their business. So they weren't going to turn on him. They called him. They're like, this weird lady's calling us and trying to throw you under the bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I Tim Hayes says, "What do you mean by schmuck?" Listen, the guy, he seems like I don't want to speak ill. The guy. How do I explain this, Professor? I don't know. Nothing I say will sound good. He is a complicated man. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, he is, like many of us. He is, a bundle of contradictions and different things,
Like
right? Uh,
Sometimes
Yeah.
he looks like maybe he's involved in a lot of recreational activities, if you understand what I'm
This is
saying.
true. Yes, he does. Yeah, there's some recreational things there.
Recreational activities, and then he just kind of goes like bonkers and does like incest and does strange things. So it's hard to really like process the guy. But then there are times that like maybe he suddenly, does something that I have a lot of respect for. But I agree with you. This video here, I feel like he told it like it is. And I generally agree with what he was saying. He was saying something important, that sometimes when you're in this position, that somebody's paying you a lot of money and expecting results, and you have a contract with them, there's certain things that you don't want to do. And he was saying also what I was saying in other words. If you're a guy that just costs a lot of money and you're not even bringing in money, you're just costing a lot of money because some contract, you're not in that position that you can, act the way this guy acted. Because at the end, if somebody sits there and thinks, "Man, this guy's a liability. He's not bringing any money. All these people hate him. They don't even want to show him on their networks." Then you're basically forcing the arms of your bosses.
Ah, yeah, yeah, you're right. Oh, Tim Hayes wants to know what schmuck means. It means a foolish or contemptible person. And just so you know, schmuck comes from the Yiddish, another great term from the Yiddish. It's Yiddish for penis. So that's what, but it means a foolish or contemptible person.
Yeah, something like that. Anyhow,
Yeah. Oh
what
man.
else was on our
Yeah,
docket?
we got other stuff. Man, we've been talking about this for like 2.5 hours.
Well,
What
it
else?
kind
What
of
else?
went.
We got?
It was an important topic
It
because a
was
lot
a
of
big
people.
topic. Yeah.
It's not so much like he himself, but the whole thing with all these like celebrities melting down. Oh, just a few meltdowns I want to show that were funny. Uh, am I still? Let me just show just things that were funny very quickly, and we'll move on. Let me see for a second.
Oh, showing us all your likes. Yeah. Yeah. Just
No, I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't even mean to do that. I don't think I have any likes at all. Like, nobody likes me. See, Huey Lewis told me that I'm a loser and therefore a
Oh,
liar. I'm sorry, I'm a
Huey.
grifter,
Huey
therefore a
Lewis.
liar and a
Yeah.
loser.
If you were a grifter price, you'd have a lot more money.
That is
I would
true.
imagine.
So, first of
Oh,
all,
yes, that's from that
okay.
story from Disgusting Film. Oh, jeez.
First
Yeah.
of all, it started earlier with Lost
Yeah.
creator Damon Lindelof pledges not to work with Disney until Jimmy Kimmel's suspension is lifted. That's another one of those situations that
Yes.
the girlfriend wants to break up with you before you break up with her.
Yeah.
It's like Damon Lindelof, his name like is always attached to something that ends up falling apart,
Oh
or
God.
or he like launches something that's canceled after 5 minutes. The guy that somehow along with J.J. Abrams managed to con people with that stupid Lost thing, and since then has basically been doing nothing. So, and then I just wrote, "Your terms are acceptable, Damon Lindelof," and I tagged him. Can we have that in writing? And then I thought that was funny, but then discussing commies says. Tatiana Maslany has urged her fans to cancel their Disney subscriptions after the studio suspended Jimmy Kimmel's show. And I wrote, "Man, I didn't think this gay this this gay man, I didn't think this day could get any better."
Yeah.
And the funny thing is,
Oh.
people were asking like, "Oh, she has fans?" Like that's
Yeah.
Sean Crumble. This can't
She
be
has
real.
fans. I am not one that actually thinks that she is a bad actress. I don't think she is. I think that project. I think that She-Hulk was a disaster. I don't think in particular that she is a terrible actress. Just that was an awful project. But
No,
yes,
I don't. I
clearly
don't think.
she is part of the echo chamber that is Hollywood. And yeah, no, that's hilarious. Yeah, that is one thing, Price, that I was thoroughly amused by all day long was that we have now. Okay, so a bunch of people on the right have been calling to cancel Disney Plus for ages. Shout out to real life fake wizard. Cancel Disney Plus, people. And then over on the left now, they're calling for a boycott and for canceling Disney and Disney Plus. It's like, man, I love it. Just more, please.
This is
Or
just it's like you just need to grab some popcorn and watch it. And the funny thing is like all these people that are losers, like Jimmy Kimmel has no ratings. This lady was like in a disaster of a project on Disney Plus. Now she wants to cancel it. She's the one that said fuck the fans or whatever it is. Sorry, Sean. And then you have Damon Lindelof who like every time, honestly, every time I hear his name, it's a project that's probably not going to happen. That's usually these days what like Damon Lindelof is associated with. That he would
yep.
even get up and say that this is a parody of itself. Like they have no idea what kind of comedy they're supplying me with here.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a producer. What has he done since Lost? Right, he was a producer on Prometheus. Jeez, what a terrible film. He was a producer on Star Trek Into Darkness. Again, absolutely awful. The worst by far of those 2009 Trek, those three films, Into Darkness, just disastrously terrible. He was a producer on the just total flop Tomorrowland. No one even remembers that movie even exists. He
Didn't
was
it
on
have George Clooney in it?
Yes, George
Flopping?
Clooney. George Clooney. Yeah, it was a ridiculous film. And then The Leftovers, which performed fairly well. I watched a couple episodes of it. I couldn't care less. It was not for me, and I felt like watching it and seeing who the writers were and seeing what they were doing with it. I was like, I'm going to be disappointed by this show, so I walked away. He
I tried
also
to watch it. I watched like 5 minutes. I'm like, what is this crap? I stopped
Yeah,
watching.
I think I saw like 3 episodes, but then that was enough for me. Watchmen, also didn't finish that one. I heard everyone saying this was one of the greatest series ever to be made. I watched a couple episodes of it. I was like, "Oh, wow, this is terrible.
I think
No
I
thanks."
watched the first episode and I said, this is awful. I never want to watch this again. I think I
Yeah,
watched the first one.
it was absolutely awful. It was so full of political messaging and all sorts of stuff. I was like, "No, thanks. I'm not interested in your show." Since then, he's made absolutely nothing of any kind of interest. He's a total dud. If Damon Lindelof can, what I want to know is, can we get him to agree to not work with anyone in Hollywood going forward? Because that would be even better than just not working with Disney. But yeah, he's. I mean, to me, he's just a laughing stock now. Like everything he makes is terrible. Uh, let's see, what was saying in the chat? Yeah, I just said Leftover season 2 is a bit better. Okay, well, I'm not going back to it, so no worries there. But if you liked it, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with it. Like I said, I heard some people really liked it. But yeah, a lot. I had heard from a bunch of people. Oh, this new Watchmen show, it's so amazing. It's just, and I watched like a few minutes of this girl boss, beating up people and some of the ridiculous political takes they had. There's no thanks. I'm done. Thank you.
By the
Uh,
way, just quickly, I wanted to ask you, hey, Sebrew, what happened to Hassan? Did anything happen to all these people to like Hassan and Destiny? I keep seeing, oh, they're
Nothing
banned. They're
yet.
banned. They're not
Nothing
banned
yet.
from anything, right? Everybody keeps
No,
saying
no.
they're not banned
Oh,
for anything.
Destiny tried to fake being banned from tried to,
He's already been banned.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
been banned for years. I think he's been banned for since like 2022 or something. And he tried to, like say, oh, he's been banned and it was because of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and whatever. Like tried to do this thing. Of course, only the, people who were idiots didn't know like he's been banned from Twitch for a long time. But no, friggin' Destiny. God. Hassan, awful. I don't I can't understand why he has not been taken off other than, I recognize that he makes money for Twitch. And so they're going to keep him because he makes money. Just like you had Amaranth repeatedly breaking the rules. Now, she wasn't calling for anyone to be, assassinated or killed. Wasn't calling for genocide like Hassan has on several occasions. But constantly breaking Twitch's rules. And what do? Oh, here, slap on the wrist, 24 hours. Then you're welcome back because guess what? You earn a lot of money for us. And so it's the same with Hassan. And of course, there's also a political bent. We know that the people behind Twitch, the people, Amazon, right? We know that they have a political bent. They are okay with someone like Hassan frankly, platforming terrorists and, saying things that, frankly, should have him put in jail, have him arrested, because he's quite literally called for people to be, to be attacked, to be beaten, even, potentially, depending on how you translate what he's saying in his words, called for people to be killed, which is absolutely unacceptable. And that Twitch keeps him on is absolutely disgusting. Elizabeth Quince, if Johnny Somali taught us one thing, it's that Twitch is all about the cash. Yep, no question. Yeah, there is no other thing that you can learn from Johnny Somali, by the way. Maybe one of the dumbest people on the planet.
Well, what can you do? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to ask that. But what was the other stuff on our docket? What were we going to talk about?
I think you mentioned Ghost of Yōtei.
Isn't there something where all these people in the game and the developers, they were all celebrating Charlie Kirk's
Yes.
death, and now
Yeah. So
wait, One Dirty
there's
Bird.
oh yeah.
I just want to make sure I saw this One Dirty Bird. Okay, first of all, I think that I missed something where Istaphobos for $1.
Did we?
Rachel Maddow gets
Yeah, we did.
$29 million a year to show off her lesbian haircut. She only works 1 hour a week. I see.
Yeah.
One Dirty Bird for $2. What we're doing is accountability culture. Yeah, I mean, basically what they used to say, like, "Oh, what about consequence culture? What about" all of the same
This
people that
isn't
were
cancel
whining,
culture, it's consequence culture.
all these people that were whining, and really, I still think that it's not that every single person now is being canceled. This is a situation where a guy was like, murdered in broad daylight in the way that he was, and they're celebrating it. It's not equivalent. Like the cancellations that went, the other way, if you want to call it that, were very different. It wasn't a situation like this. I was telling you a while back that when there was the whole 2020 Summer of Love, if people were saying like BLM, and you said, "Wait a minute, this is all very strange. Like all lives matter because everybody should be, treated nicely, and everybody's important, and all lives are important." If you said that, there were people trying to make sure that you never work again.
Mhm.
And I still don't quite understand the logic of it, because what's wrong with saying that all lives matter? There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that. Yet somehow that was made, no, if you say that, you're an istinophobe. Like, why are you an istinophobe if you want everybody to live? I don't know. That was the type of stuff where they wanted to cancel people. Do you get what I mean? Or like,
Mhm.
"Oh, do you know that 10 years ago he told a joke?" Things like that. This was very weird. Here in this situation, he brought down a shitstorm from 7 different directions, and as Dave Portnoy says, doesn't actually deliver the goods for his company. That is not a good position to be in.
Mhm. Not at all, no.
And, yeah, so we did that, and then, I guess now if you wanna talk about Ghost of Yōtei?
Yeah, I mean, we can go. I can pull up some tweets here.
Go ahead.
Grums has been talking about it quite a bit. So or at least sharing a lot of the posts about it. So early on, if we go back a little while here, the trailer has been thoroughly ratioed
Of
for
course.
the game. There's been let's see. Of course, there's also there were already plenty of complaints about them making characters ugly, right? And you've got another main character who's ugly. So there are plenty of complaints about this before we even got to what happened over the last week, and then we started to see some other stuff. So oh wait, these are old. Okay, so uh early on, we saw reports from Ghost of Yōtei dev, who was celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Drew is the name. Standing up against fascism is what cost me my dream job. I held for 10 years. I would do it again 100 times stronger. Okay. So that particular person has been fired. It doesn't show what the original tweet was, or the original Blue Sky post, whatever. I think, what do they post on Blue Sky? Do they just call those PDF files? I think that's I don't know. Then we had they were basically Grums and a number of other people have been calling out the company Sucker Punch and Sony for essentially not actually making any sort of statements other than saying, "Yep, we fired this person for their terrible opinion, for the terrible thing that they posted. He's no longer an employee here." That's it. No apologies or other kind of statements on exactly what happened and why. The trailer is getting all sorts of posts about the voice actor they chose. Of course, this has been something that people have been talking about for quite some time. They got somebody who is a non-binary person, identifies as a they or whatever, and then was kind of an activist online. That's who they chose to be the voice for this character. And of course, we have her saying, "I'm Antifa, so's my wife." Um, oh yeah, so this was the original post from Drew here. I found it. It says, "I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows his bro got his back." Gross. So yeah, as several people have said, now that with this having happened on this date, and then even though that this guy was fired, now, or I guess not guy, girl, she, her, as they say there, now that Drew's been fired, I'm guessing maybe the she, her thing is and its name's Drew. I'm guessing this might be a transformer, but I don't know for sure.
I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't know what to say because at this point, sometimes these things,
yeah,
I don't. I'm going to plead the fifth right now, but
yeah.
I understand why there could be confusion there, but there's
Yeah,
best
yeah.
I don't say anything more.
So then, you got some other, you got some replies to to Drew's original post on Blue Sky. Here's the picture of Drew. I don't know. I can't tell. Not from that picture anyway.
I love how Blue Sky has become the place for
Oh
tolerance.
my God, yeah, it's the place for free speech where everybody talks about awful violence against people, and then says, "Oh, but my free speech." Yeah, we got to lower the temperature. Everyone needs to stop being so awful. Except we're still going to be over here on this platform in our little echo chamber, calling you awful, awful things.
At the
And
end,
making idiotic statements about Charlie Kirk because we watched 4 15-second edited clips about Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
the funny
Stupid.
thing is that those people left X in order to be in a place that's like pleasant and more inclusive, and at the end, all the craziest shit that in the world is being said in that place, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And so, this is one other thing we haven't talked about, but yeah, he says, "Hey, Ghost of Yōtei's voice actor declaring she's part of an international terrorist organization." I'm Antifa, so's my wife. Gross. But the whole declaration that happened earlier about Antifa now being made officially anyway, being made a terrorist organization as defined by the federal government. That's an interesting twist. So
Yeah.
but right now the game's doing very poorly. A whole bunch of people have been canceling their pre-orders for this game. A lot of people already sort of making essentially pledges online saying, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not buying this game. Not interested." Thousands of replies to this and reposts to Grum's post here, basically saying the same thing. Yeah, yep. I was for me, it's more of a I was quit when I came in. I'm twice as quit now, kind of a situation, right? I wasn't interested in this before, since it looks like it's going to be pretty woke, and now I'm just twice as not interested. So this eventually this will be a game that comes along and they offer it free on PlayStation Plus or something. I'm not interested in giving them any of my money. So yeah, this is pretty bad. But I think this is going to really hurt this studio. Even though they fired this guy, girl, whatever it is. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Caleb Levine, I recently had a friend text me free Luigi during a conversation. I didn't understand what it meant at the time, so I didn't react. Now I don't want to talk to them anymore. I understand. That is very strange. It doesn't matter if you think that the insurance companies are not nice to the patients. The idea that you're cheering on a guy that just killed a guy that happens to be an executive at a company like this that has a wife and kids, that was a huge red flag when that happened, and nobody said anything. They were all cheering this guy on. And I've heard from somebody who goes to college in the New York area that if you go to a New York area college campus, there's people with that Luigi's guy's face on their shirts. They have posters of him. He's like their Che Guevara. They love it. They love that he went and he killed somebody. And
Yeah, yeah, they celebrate it.
they
Absolutely.
celebrated.
I watched actually a video the other day of a lady. I mean, you never know how much these things are real or how much they're manufactured for clicks. But that there's a girl who says that she's fallen in love with the Luigi AI chatbot that she's made, and talking about how she loves this Luigi chatbot that she's made, and she's in. I was just like that is just that's like multiple levels of creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Empress Sim says, I never understood what the Mario meme was about. Are you specifically talking about this post from Drew? Shooter's name being Mario, or are you talking about a different meme? I'm not sure, but yeah, the whole Luigi thing. Was it Luigi Mangione? Is that the guy's name? Yeah, who
Yeah, I think that's his name.
he assassinated an executive for a health insurance company. And so, yeah, a lot of people praising him, saying, "Oh, all these eat the rich weirdos, right?" Like
Yeah.
praising, "Oh, you're so good for you're taking the power back for the average man by murdering someone because they did something." Okay, sure. Let's advocate for just complete social breakdown and murdering, human beings because they happen to be the CEO of a company. It's disturbing, to say the least. But uh, yeah, it was Luigi, and then it was Luigi was the name of the guy who was responsible for that killing, and then people have been glorifying him, including that ghoul Taylor Lorenz, talking about, oh, he's so sexy, oh, he's just so hot, gross.
So annoying, those people.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Phantom Monk says, yeah, so you take Luigi, pair that up with Mario. Yeah, so there's jokes about Mario and talking about Luigi and whatever. So yeah, it's so gross. I'm just looking at some of the chat here, so
Yeah,
making
there's
sure.
no shortage of weirdos.
Yeah, yeah. No shortage of weirdos. That is absolutely true. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, this Ghost of Yōtei game. I loved the original game, the Ghost of Tsushima. Absolutely stellar game. I played through it. Well, I have not played all the way through it twice, but I've played all the way through it once, and I've played some of the post game, and then started the second playthrough after there was some DLC that came out, but I didn't quite make it back through that. But yeah, it's definitely I would go back to it and play it again. It really is a stellar game, fantastic combat, and a really sort of interesting story. Happens at a very interesting time in Japan during the Mongol invasion that came over into parts of Japan, and so it's a very interesting story, and it's very well done. Even the English acting is pretty solid, and the animation's great. It's a good game. I'm kind of sad that the follow up to it looks like it's been compromised. Somebody said, who was it? It was Phantom Monk said, "I heard it started out great, but was captured." Yeah, that's kind of what that I have heard. Um, that it started out, and then they brought people into the studio who decided that they had to start changing things and inserting more and more, woke stuff into it, more and more ideology into it, and well, there goes your game. Done. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
another company making stupid decisions, I guess.
Yep. What else we got, Price? What else, what are we gonna talk about this evening?
Whoa, what did we write there? What did it say?
Sean Levy, Star Wars.
That's just something I saw. Did you see there was like some pictures from it or something?
Yeah, I saw there were. I think I saw one picture. Was there more than that?
I don't think so. If you can find it, you can share it.
Let's see. Is it Sean Levy? Okay, so there's Pirate Nation has this photo up there. I don't know. What do you think, Bryce?
Let me look at it. It looks like crap to me. I'm annoyed. This looks like it's going to annoy me, and I know I'm going to sound like the biggest jerk now. The little boy in the background is annoying. I'm sick of all of this. Like I just wanted a movie that felt like that there was. It doesn't have to feel like it's everybody's 100 years old in it, but we already did the Skeleton Crew with the little children, and I feel like just give me a straight up good Star Wars movie with men that are like heroic and things like that. Could be young men, but the kids thing, the kids angle kind of annoys me.
Yeah. They're totally trying to make him or not the kid, but Ryan Gosling. Totally trying to make him sort of a hot Han Solo, right? No thanks. Not interested in that. There's only one Han Solo. And
Yeah,
he didn't shoot first.
he didn't shoot first. Not only that, I always say this and I'll say it again. I'm not the biggest fan of Ryan Gosling. I think that he's okay, but I don't think he's the best thing that ever happened. What was that thing with Mandalorian and Grogu that you skipped?
Oh, that was looks like that was something
Oh,
from
that's
back
from
in
April
April.
17. Okay.
Yeah. Here we can go to
I thought it was
latest
like a
here.
trailer or something. What are they already filming this Sean Levy thing? I don't know, man. You know what worries me? It'll be like a halfway watchable movie, and everybody's gonna get out there and start saying, "See, it's so great," and this is so the. It kind of annoyed me when they did that with Skeleton Crew. I feel like it's gonna be another incident like that, or it's gonna be like super jokey and stupid. Do you get what I mean? It's not gonna be like.
Yeah. I mean, remember the Sean Levy, he's the guy that's made the Deadpool films, right?
Yeah,
So
he also made that Adam Project, but I think that with him, there's a little bit of like silly humor. Unless he comes into this thing and he's like, I don't care about silly humor here. I want this to be like a legitimate, great Star Wars movie, and he has some great idea. If he's just coming in to do his usual, like, silly humor shtick with a little kid in it, it's just, I'm not excited. Now, I'll be fair with you. If I go see it when I review it and it's good, I'm not going to go out and purposely say it's bad. I never do that. If I sit there and the movie is good, I'll walk out and I say, you know what? I thought this would be like a piece of crap, but I ended up enjoying it. But it just in advance looking at it, it's not getting me excited at all.
Yeah. It looks like there's a post. I didn't even know there was going to be a new Star Wars, and now that I know it's Sean Levy directing, my interest, which was almost nil, doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of feel you. Here's the thing. I'm not saying Ryan Gosling. Okay, to me, he's kind of just like a non-entity.
He's just kind of there, yeah.
He's just sort of there. Like he can give a good performance or a bad performance. I'm not a fan, but I don't particularly hate him. It's like, okay, I'll give you a chance. Whatever. I'm going to be giving him a chance with the just forgot the name. I was thinking of the dang it. I hate when that happens. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary. I'm going to give him a chance to play that character because that's fine. I don't hate him. If he plays the character well in Project Hail Mary, great. I want that movie to be good because the book is stellar. It's one of my favorite books of the past 10 years. Really good. And so I'm fine with him in that, right? In this, I'm like, okay, whatever. Sean Levy, I've enjoyed some of his stuff. I don't have a problem with him. I enjoyed the Deadpool films for the most part. I enjoyed them. I just don't know if he's right for a Star Wars project. I'm gonna give him the opportunity to try and make something good. I just don't know that anything good can even come out of Disney Star Wars now, regardless of who the star is or who's directing or whatever. I just don't know that they can make it happen.
There's just so little interest now in this
Yeah.
franchise and anything
Well,
they
I mean,
could do.
they've destroyed their audience. You
They
know,
have.
this
The
was I was talking about this with somebody. Was chatting with someone the other day. They were talking about how there was some shill. It was Grizzy that I was exchanging messages with, was saying there he was showing some shill that was saying that Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu is going to make $2 billion in the theaters.
Yeah, that's not
Like
gonna happen.
I think this could be if you look at the Star Wars movies that came out, except for Solo, all these were all $1 billion plus pictures, and with inflation and everything now, I think this could be a $2 billion picture. And it's just the most ridiculous idea.
I feel like it's gonna make a few $100 million. That's it.
Well, that's and this is what I said. I said, one, since the sequels, Disney has cut the audience for Star Wars in half, if not worse. Right?
Worse at this point, yeah.
They've lost a huge number of people who won't watch their TV shows, much less go to a theater to pay money to see Star Wars. And then they're also going to have a huge chunk of people from their audience that might be interested still in Star Wars, but they're not going to go see a glorified TV show in the theaters and pay a bunch of money to see it because they know it's going to be on Disney Plus inside of a month anyway. So there's no way this is going to be a $2 billion film. I'm saying Fantastic Four money at best.
I think you're right.
Probably not even that. They break 400, maybe 450. Maybe they hit 5.
Yeah,
like
I think they
Fantastic
can
Four
get to
did.
5.
But that's it. That's it.
4 to 5. That's what I think. 400 to 500 million. Somewhere in that range. I can't tell you exactly. Maybe leading up to it, if I see trailers, I can get a little bit of a better feel for it. But I think we're looking at 4 to 500. Caleb Levine says, Price, did you see the remake of The Fall Guy with Gosling? And if so, what did you think? So I'll tell you what I think. I saw the remake and I didn't hate it. It's not the best movie I've seen. There were some issues with it. It wasn't perfect, but actually, usually, Ryan Gosling kind of annoys me. I thought he was pretty decent in this. They did make him a bit of a beta in a few parts that annoyed me, and more than in the show that the guy wasn't a beta. So Lee Majors wasn't a beta. But with all of that being said, if you don't think about it too much, there was something to enjoy about the movie. I like Emily Blunt. It wasn't overly offensive or anything. It was okay. That's what I think that in my review I gave it something in the maybe it was the low 70s or something like that. And I think that that's probably a decent score to give it. It's a type of movie that if you're sitting at home and you have the the ability to just watch it on one of those streaming services, there's probably worse ways you can spend a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but
Again, I never went and said, "Oh, you have to clear your schedule for it." It's like if you're sitting around and like on one of those Netflix, it's there. You really want to watch a movie. There's worse things that can happen.
yeah, you could do worse. Yeah.
I
You could be
just
watching Electric State.
That's probably worse. Cheers, dude, Brosef. Nice to see you here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that, and
Yeah.
then let me see what else. Hold on, give me a second.
What other knowledge you got to drop on us tonight, Price?
Let me see for a second. I'm trying to find. I have a secret for you, but I probably shouldn't tell you.
A secret. It's time for Late Night Confessions with Price of Reason.
Okay.
Ah, dang it.
Somewhere in recent times, there was an industry trade somewhere. No, I shouldn't say it.
Okay.
Let me see. Let's just say, remember that I told you that there was a movie and that I made some kind of music for it?
Mm-hmm.
Sometime there will be that movie, and it's likely, more than likely, to happen sometime this year.
Oh, I see.
Again, insignificant to anybody that watches it. It's such a minor, silly thing, but it was just interesting because over the past year, there have been a few instances that even something was mentioned in like an industry trade. Again, I'm sure this isn't the articles that are the most of interest to people in these kind of industry trades, but it's just kind of interesting that somewhere it was mentioned at all.
Oh, yes. Well,
It's going to be a movie that nobody. And I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean. You know what? Indie movies, there's a market for that, and
some people will see it. Many people will not.
you know what?
It won't show on a lot of screens.
It probably will not show on a lot of screens, but you know what? It's still nice that people make independent movies.
Sure.
And you know what? It's still it's if somebody wanted to feature something that I did, it's better than not featuring it.
Sure.
At least somebody heard something I did and said, "Hey, you know what? That should be in a movie."
It happened.
It happened.
It should be in a movie, and it was.
I mean, ideally, it would have been something more like, Avatar 5 whatever. What are Avatar? Are they like 3? They need like a big song for Avatar 3, the one that you see like along with the credits or something.
Yep.
That probably is a better gig, if you know what I mean. This is the type of gig that, like, it's like a secret. You know that such a thing exists, but it's basically only you know. Me and an industry trade that wrote about it, but
Yeah.
it's just
Yep.
funny.
Elizabeth Quinn's saying the Hail Mary description, full of twists, humor, and sci-fi heart, like if MacGyver met Interstellar. That's
What is she
okay.
talking about?
About Project Hail Mary. That
I
I
don't
was
even know
talking
what that
about
is.
earlier. Okay, so yeah, there's a book. It's from the same guy who wrote The Martian.
Ah, yes, you
Yeah.
told me. Yes, okay.
Yeah, and so that's coming. That film, it's done. It's in post production. It's coming this next year, and yeah, it stars Ryan Gosling. Not my first choice, but I think Ryan Gosling could do fine in the role. But yeah, it's absolutely one of my favorite books of the past decade. It's so good. I think it's better than The Martian, book wise. Although The Martian is great, but it was very enjoyable book, full of humor, great character moments, lots of great like scientific detail and stuff like that, which the author's so good at putting into the books. So yeah, when is that coming out?
I have a question though. Why is Emily Blunt -1? I would say that she's +1.
A +1.
I mean, I don't really play this game, but like Emily Blunt is I like Emily Blunt. Why would she be a
She's
-1?
yeah, I don't have a problem with Emily Blunt on the
But -1 is the opposite.
yeah.
That's like as if
Yeah.
something bad.
Maybe maybe the dash is just, it's an M dash. It's there
It's gonna.
for emphasis and space there. Instead of using like a colon or something, the dash is there. Just
I would
indicate that
hope
those two
so.
things belong together and it's not actually a
I would hope
negative.
so because sometimes people do like
Yeah.
+1s over really suspicious things, and Emily Blunt seems like something that like I don't know. I maybe it's a matter of everybody sees things the way they see it, but I think that most people I know think that she's at least rather. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a hyphen, silly.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Got it. Forget about anything I said. Price of Zimmer? What does that mean?
Hans Zimmer?
Ah, okay, I got you.
I
I
think
got it. Yeah,
is it
thank
yep,
you. Yes,
doing
I am
your
Price of Zimmer, exactly. Uh,
doing the score for
I am gonna whatever theater is gonna show. I hope such a thing exists. Whatever theater is gonna show that movie, I am gonna go to that theater and I'm gonna sit there and watch whatever that movie is. And then at the end, when the credits are rolling, I hopefully the hopefully like my name will actually appear within the credits. And I don't know. It'll be nice, I guess. I mean, the thing is that on one hand, I can't really tell anybody about it because for obvious reasons, and the other thing is that nobody's actually that nobody's gonna see it. It's like it's almost like I live in the Matrix. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
it appears in my Matrix.
So it's kind of funny. I'll tell you, there's a there's a podcast that I listen to, Price. That you know how you listen to the podcast and they'll talk about their sponsors or the people who are subscribers and stuff like that, especially the people who are really high tiers, helping to pay for the podcast. Or there's a podcast that I listen to on a regular basis where one of their like top tier supporters, like giving them hundreds of dollars a month supporters, has the same name as me, and it's very creepy. And every time I'm listening, they're like, one of our big supporters. And I'm like, oh my, what? So every time I'm like, oh, I'm just sort of surprised to hear my name. It's like, you're a producer on the podcast this week, kind of thing.
That's funny. Kayla Levine says, "Will you go to the theater dressed as Darkman with your puppet?" No, nobody knows who I am. I'm gonna probably be. I don't want to be mean. I hope that there's people. Whatever theater this is going to be shown at, I hope that there's some people there. But since it's a very kind of low budget indie, there could be as a situation that maybe it'll be a small theater, and I can't say how packed it'll be.
As long as you're not the only one in the small theater watching the movie. That would be depressing.
I'm probably going to be the no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Who knows? I have to support, I don't want to be like Kimmel, you know what I mean? Of course, like, it's not that I'm making $17 million a year. I don't even think I'm making $17 from this venture, okay? But I don't want to be mean and speak any kind of negative response about this thing. I hope it does well and that people enjoy it. And did you comment on the Trump Starmer press conference? Looks like your guy had given our weasel a right spanking beforehand and well deserved. Do you have any idea what's going on here? I saw that Trump was
yes, I saw
talking
some
to the
photos
princess.
from it. I actually haven't seen any video from it. Haven't seen anything other than just some of the photos from the meeting. So, I don't really know. Let's see, the Trump. Let's see. We got any stuff here I can share?
Well, let me be really clear about Hamas. They're a terrorist organization who can have no part in any future governance in Palestine. And what happened on October the 7th was the worst attack since the Holocaust. We have extended family in Israel. I understand firsthand the psychological impact that had across Israel. So I know exactly where I stand in relation. Hamas, of course, don't want a two-state solution. They don't want peace. They don't want a ceasefire. Well, let me be really clear about
That was so bizarre.
Oh yeah, they're patting him on the back like he's a little kid. Like,
Oh
good
my
job,
God, that was...
good job, buddy. Good job. You actually said it. You said the thing. Good job.
What do you think happened there? You think that somebody told him behind the scenes he better agree to whatever? I feel like I wonder. I have to wonder what happened behind the scenes here. And
Yeah.
Starmer is usually a weasel, like somebody
Oh
wrote here.
yeah.
So.
Oh, look at you decrying terrorism. Aren't you sweet? Good job, buddy. Oh
That is
my
so crazy.
gosh. How disturbing is it that Donald Trump so clearly loves Britain much more than Keir Starmer? It's never been more obvious. He knows the prime minister is destroying our country from within. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let's see. Let's listen to this one.
And I speak about it, and I think your situation is very similar. You have people coming in, and I told the prime minister I would stop it, and it doesn't matter if you call out the military, it doesn't matter what means you use, but it's going to destroys countries from within. And we're actually now removing a lot of the people that came into our country. It's a very hard chore. We were given a very, very bad hand. Millions of people came in from prisons and mental institutions. We have to remove them. And we are removing them. We have no choice. And I feel very strongly about it. Thank you about it. And I think your situation.
Nope, stop.
Starmer looks like he's suffering. Like he wants to let all the immigrants in and doesn't want to condemn any bad things. Like this is probably a nightmare for him.
Doesn't matter if you call out the military.
the question of
here's Starmer afterwards.
Jack, let me just deal with the question of returns, because this is obviously an issue we're taking incredibly seriously. We've struck a number of deals, both on cooperation with other countries, because this is a problem right across Europe, to tackle the problem of actually breaking up the gangs that are running this trade. We have had a record number of returns, over 35,000 now since we came into office. That's the highest number for the best part of 10 years.
But you're letting in more than that. Like, well, we're, returns, deportations. Like, we deported 35. You're letting in more than that. There's not a net. You're kind of losing out here.
We struck the returns arrangement with France, and notwithstanding the challenges to that scheme, which you've seen in the last few days, a flight went off at 6:15 this morning, successfully returning someone under that scheme. So that is an important step forward. Obviously, there's no silver bullet here. There's a range of things that need to be done. But given the challenges of returning people, it is important that we're able to prove it can be done. It was done. It was done early this morning. So I can confirm that flight went. It went successfully. And I'm pleased about that. Now we need to ramp that up at scale, which was always envisaged under the scheme. But it's very important that we have been able to prove that the proof of concept, if you like.
What is he babbling about?
I don't know. I do love Matt Goodwin up here, though. Trump, illegal immigration destroys countries, send to the military. Starmer, waffle, gimmick, lies and gaslighting.
That's what it felt like,
That's
though.
it, exactly.
Completely just trying to outmaneuver for all different directions. He's saying nothing.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that's funny.
Right. And yet the Mayor of London can't be there.
I didn't want him there. I asked that he not be there. I don't want them. I think the Mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world. And we have some bad ones. If you look at Chicago, but I think he's the equivalent of the mayor of Chicago. I think he's done a terrible job. Crime in London is through the roof. The Mayor of London, Mayor Khan, has done a terrible job. And on immigration, he's a disaster. Now, I asked that he not be there. He wanted to be there, as I understand. I didn't want him. I've not liked him for a long time. I just think, I have a certain pride in London and UK. My mother was born in Scotland, as you know. And when I see Mayor Khan do a bad job, the stabbings and the dirt and the filth, it's not the same. I didn't want him there.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, nope. I didn't want Sadiq Khan there. Yeah, I wouldn't want him there either. Yeah. Yeah, a few other things here. Yeah, that's clearly, yeah. Trump gets up there, says what he thinks, means what he says. We get Starmer up there, mumble. political, correct point, mumble. Oh, we're doing things. We're returning 35,000. Oh, 100,000 came in, but we're returning 35.
But I do feel that Keir Starmer is like, I feel like he does feel uncomfortable. What do you think, Trump is telling him behind the scenes to make him really worry this way?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think he's a really strong personality, and I think that Keir Starmer is not. Keir Starmer is just a politician who makes his way through by being as just not pushing buttons, not doing anything that's going to upset anybody, going along with his party and whatever it is that they want. And then he's not a man with a particularly strong will or particularly strong characteristics to actually like move forward and do anything on principle. He just sort of goes where the wind blows, goes wherever his party tells him to go. So yeah, we see where that's taken them. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What else did we miss?
I don't know. I'm not sure. You do have one super chat. I guess we could do the super chat and then we could call it a night.
Okay, 1 second. Let's first of all look at the super chat. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
It's about 1:05.
It's from the dead man. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how long it's been there. I hope I didn't miss it sooner.
No, it's only been about 10 minutes.
Okay. 1 second. Very important technological stuff is happening here. So the dead man says, I am Charlie Kirk. Well, thank you. That is great. I wonder if he was censored because he seems to have done something there that was like trying to avoid a censor.
IAM.
Do you get what I'm saying? It seems like he tried to write it.
Yeah.
Like he tried to write it regular and maybe he was censored. Who knows? That would be crazy.
Just go the Star Trek route and just say I am Kirok, and then we'll know we'll know you're talking about Charlie, and you don't have to worry about getting censored.
So a few things. Oh, this I forgot. It's not very interesting, but it was just I saw it yesterday.
Sure.
I don't think we talked about it. It's stupid, but I'll share it anyways. I guess they found. So first of all, thank you, the dead man, for the $1.99 super chat, and yeah. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, which again not very interesting, but maybe mildly. Did you see that there was a deleted scene from Fantastic Four?
I had seen somebody mentioning it earlier. Maybe it was you,
I
but
think it
I
was
didn't
me.
actually see it. Yeah.
First of all, like there was a title called Taking Turns, and I thought to myself, this is gonna be some kind of like LG weird thing. I don't know. I thought the worst. When I saw the title, I thought the worst thing that could happen in this movie. It was about to happen. But then it turned out that it's not what it wasn't in a naughty sense, okay? I don't know why. I'm sorry if that's a bad thing that in my mind, when I see a title says Taking Turns, my mind goes to like a kind of a, it has a naughty association. Do you get what I'm saying? Is it just me that thinks that this is a naughty association, or is just
I can see where you went with that.
who uses that unless it's a naughty thing? Who says, "Oh, we're taking turns"? Who says that if it's not like a naughty association? I don't know. Never mind.
No.
Forget what I
Yeah.
said. The professor's like, "What is this guy? What's he saying?" Okay, let's look at the video.
Shaking my head and backing away quietly. Sure, Price. Yes.
Okay, let's look. This is a deleted scene from Fantastic Four.
Oh, it's your turn to sleep.
Hey, you hungry?
Always.
Close your eyes, babe. Be the smartest man in the world tomorrow. You're safe, babe. Tonight you're safe.
It's like the most boring scene in a movie that's already boring to begin with.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Well, they advertise that they have an additional scene, so I'm like, okay, I'll click on it.
Yeah. Do they have the whole movie that they shot the first time before they went back to shoot it the second time?
I wonder. You know, it's funny. I wonder if we'll ever see. I want to see, for example, what Doctor Strange 2 looked like when Sam Raimi initially shot it, because he had to refilm most of the movie. I always wondered to myself, what was his movie like? What
Yeah.
movie did he have? Was it like a terrible movie, or they just wanted to put Wanda in there from WandaVision? I wonder what the reason is that they had him refilm the whole movie. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of it?
I mean, I always wonder about these things. Like, man, like, yeah, what did Solo look like? What does Batgirl look like before that got canned? Like, what do they actually have of that movie? What did I guess eventually we got to see what the original vision for, you know, Justice League was before Joss came in. We did get to see that, and it was every bit as bad as the Justice League,
You
in my
know,
mind, but
I, I, I
bad in different ways.
I'll tell you what. I think that Joss Whedon, forget about his behavior. I think Joss Whedon, in terms of what he did with Avengers and stuff like that, I think he was okay at doing that. I think that coming into the DC universe and trying to force that into that other thing felt a bit off.
Yeah, it did.
And I felt kind of just the film was kind of mediocre when I saw it. The thing with Zack Snyder's Justice League, I felt it was a little bit better than Justice League. Okay, and I say a little bit better. It's not that I watched it and I said, "Wow, this now is like The Godfather." I just said to myself, "Well, it's a little better than the other one." I feel like he had more time to flesh out certain ideas, and overall, it's a little better, but I don't know what to say. That's the best I could do, I guess.
Hmm.
Let me just see 1 second if there's anything else that I wanted to go over, or anything that I thought was cool, or anything that I missed.
Man, I'll tell you one thing, Price. This week, I've seen more Candace Owens than I need to see all year long.
Oh man,
That woman at one point, Price, number of years ago, I actually thought she sounded fairly intelligent. And now she may be one of the dumbest people on the planet. I don't know how she ever got where she is. Yeah.
No, I mean, I kind of agree. I think that I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 years ago. From time to time, I'd see her talk or say something like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I hate to say it because I don't often agree. I think that Dave Chappelle is very funny, but I don't necessarily agree with his politics. Like a lot of times, he goes in directions that are not my direction. But I will say that there was one time that he was like talking about Candace Owens, and over the years, when I see her, doing all this strange stuff, I kind of go back to remembering Dave Chappelle's description of her, and I can't say that his description wasn't rather funny. I don't know if you remember it.
Not right off the bat, but no, I did, in the last few days, there is nobody who's been as bad. Now there's been a few of them out there that have been trying real hard to somehow use their connections to Charlie Kirk to try and boost their careers, get more clicks, get more viewers, whatever. I don't think anyone's been as bad as she is. And she belongs in a loony bin now. Just a kook.
I agree with you. She's gone off the deep end, and I think that 5, 6, 7 years ago, when maybe Charlie Kirk would like associate with her, she wasn't a loony like now. I think that now she's a loony, and she's trying to make it seem like now, like 5 minutes before he left, he's no longer with us, that he was like buddy buddy with her. I don't know how much he was buddy buddy with her in the loony status. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I actually think in the last few years he's kind of distanced himself from her in a number of ways. There was some news, I think some people who actually work at Turning Point USA essentially saying just that, in the last year or so, he's kind of been quietly stepping away from her and not engaging with her and not being involved in as many different shows with her because she's gone just off the deep end. So, yeah, that would not surprise me at all. Oh, there's a fantastic new product I was going to show you, Price. I don't know if you saw this today.
Do it.
This incredible new app that we have available.
A lot of terrible things happen in the world, but sometimes you forget to blame Israel. That's
I think I've seen it.
Blame Israel Reminder app. It scans news 24/7, and whenever tragedy strikes, you instantly get alerted on your phone reminding you to blame Israel.
Oh,
a celebrity
time
murder,
saver.
Obviously Mossad. A horrific pandemic, gotta be the Jews. Market crashes, come on, that one's too obvious. Don't ever find yourself in that uncomfortable position where someone else is blamed for a tragedy when you could have easily pinned it on Israel. Thank goodness no one checks facts anymore before sharing idiotic hot takes on social. So download the Blame Israel Reminder app today. And if for some reason it doesn't load, at least you know who's at fault.
I think I ran into that earlier today.
It's so good. And I guess it was probably talking about Candace Owens that made me think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's her whole shtick now. Everything is blame Israel.
Right. I mean, the thing is, I think that not that I even like to start with it. There's like a gang of 3, 4 of those types that every second that something happens, they like run to wherever they can post. Like they immediately post that's, somehow they try to tie it to Israel. And in some cases, it's so desperate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, once you say it about every single thing, it just looks like a joke. Just like this guy was making a joke about it. That's what it looks like when all you have to say is over and over again the same thing. And it's like already there's no topic to discuss. It's just this over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, I don't know. I think that at some point people should be able to see that this is just annoying. I don't even know what to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, sometimes you make
a grift, maybe
a grift. You know what? I'm gonna say something. I probably am not supposed to go down this rabbit hole. I should now shut up. But I'll say that it's kind of like sometimes you make a video on YouTube and that video, it gets a lot of clicks and it gets a lot of attention and you're like, great. And the instinct is you want to make another video, about that because people were enjoying that video or you got a good reception out of it. And it's fine. Like, I made a few videos about James Gunn and people like them. So I made a few more videos about James Gunn and Superman. It's probably not going to be something that I'll do forever. It's just, the movie was out in theaters and a lot of people were talking about it. But it's like that feeling that people like what you're doing and are responding well to it and you're getting the clicks and whatever. I can see how it's tempting to continue to want more of that. But man, it's like they've been stuck on that same wave over and over and over again and trying to tie it in ways that doesn't even make any sense at this point. So the grift really reveals itself. If you get what I'm saying.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that with Macron's wife. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what she wanted with Macron's wife. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no knowledge. If you want to know what I think that Macron's wife is significantly older than him. And I think that when they stand next to each other, that age gap is like very noticeable in their case. And maybe that's why, they look a bit odd together. But I don't know. I really don't know about that thing that I don't know. Like, did anybody even think that before she got up one day and kept insisting that that's the case? I don't even know.
Macron's wife is a dude. The whole thing, like, that's ridiculous. And what does it matter? I don't understand.
I mean, listen, it's like, yes, first of all,
absolutely. Num said, did she link Macron's wife to being a man to Israel too? Of course.
That's the next step.
Israel's always connected. Yeah.
If she solidifies it, it'll be them that like did it. But the question is, I don't know. I mean, it's not a matter of even caring or not caring. It's like she got up one day. I don't even remember even anybody saying this. It's just the funny thing is at the end it'll turn out she was she was right or something. I have nothing to say at that point.
No.
But yeah, that's just my impression. She just the part that's strange about her, and maybe I don't remember it. Wasn't she like his teacher in school or something?
Yeah, there's something like that. I don't remember
I
what
feel
it
like
is
he was like
specifically, but
a
yeah.
kid and she was like an adult teacher in school, and today they're married. That's what I think is a bit strange. It's not my business. I don't exactly know the ins and outs of it. It's always sounded like a strange story to me.
Yeah.
But that's just me
It's
personally.
weird. It's weird, but yeah.
Oh, in any case, I guess unless there's something still you want to go over here.
No, I think we've been through a lot of this stuff over and over tonight. I spent plenty of time talking about everything happening with old Jimmy Kimmel, and I mean that's what's in the news today. So that's what we talk about. But so glad everybody's here. I guess we should say thank you. They got you the lists there for our friends over on Rumble.
Rumble, so it's Reach M842, Native Flows, Phantom Monk, Bingo Hazmat, Elizabeth Quince, who's a member here, Pure Blood Based Berserker, Istophobos, friend of the channel, Mod, Sal the Hamster, Sharkbait 65, Empress M, One Dirty Bird, sent a nice Rumble rant, Dude Bro Seth 420, cheers, all my thumb.
Yeah. And the usernames for YouTube are still processing. So give me a minute. Thanks, AI. Doing a great job. Let's see. Still processing as you all get to listen to. Okay. All right. Here we go. We had over on YouTube FKHC 2005, Grim, Marla Sharondoff, Mur Rockstro, Tex Rogers, Yidis, Tim Hayes, Zunar J5, Caleb Levine, Jonathan Conroy, Tomahawk 511, Jason Webster, The Dead Man, John Z, Istophobos, Obi Dean, Mark D with a C, Whalem 03, Contra Mortem, Mr. X51, Darth Maylock, Davion Donaldson, Sean Green, Hoot Owl, Granola Gren, Keely Chow, Badfoot, Bishop Judas, Gavin Blackburn, Seabrew 1138, Putin's Cat, Ann and I, Stephen Mack, and Yep. So yeah, lots of people joining us tonight. Fantastic seeing all of you. And
That's
yeah.
always fun.
I will say there was one thing I forgot to Price. Did you see? We did mention South Park earlier, and they had to delay an episode.
Yeah, and I have to wonder. It's one out of two things. Either they were going to say something that's really divisive, or even make another joke about Charlie Kirk, and they decided to quickly try to steer away from it, but they couldn't do it in time. That's one option. The other option is that they're just feeling, as opposed to let's say like a Jimmy Kimmel, they're feeling the heat, and they're like, man, let's just delay. First of all, let's just delay this episode for a week, even if they remained with the same episode. Maybe they're just like, let's things cool another week, and maybe then we'll air it. Or in the meantime, maybe they also make some tweaks to it if they think that they've crossed some kind of line. Or if it's all just like a one big TDS with somehow involving, Charlie Kirk again, maybe they're like, no, let's just do a completely different episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to be... Sorry, go on.
No, I was saying, yeah, that's kind of my assumption too. There was something in there that Paramount, Skydance, they came back and they said, no, no. It's just like someone should have done with the awful joke, the terrible, lies that they were telling, on Jimmy Kimmel. Somebody should have been there, the adult in the room that said, you realize we're gonna get torn a new one for this, right? This is not the time for that joke. Like, just don't say that, right? And I think there was probably something to that effect in that episode. I'm certain there was more Trump stuff. They put that in every episode. I don't think that would have been the problem. There was probably something else that had to do with something in there that was particularly offensive, or that had to do with Charlie Kirk, perhaps, or something that they decided that you can't air that. Like, it has to be changed. I don't think it was actually Matt and Trey saying, "Oh, we just can't deliver this week."
Yeah, I feel like maybe they submitted the episode, and especially with everything that's going on, they just said, "You know what? Yeah, but to do something else." At the end of the day, I know that, like, they get a lot of leeway to do whatever they want, but at the same time, with everything, with the temperature that's happening now in the country, and the fact that they're getting paid $1.5 billion, I can see how somebody at Paramount says, "Nope, you're getting $1.5 billion. You're not releasing this episode."
Yep, but
Now
there
let's see.
was
Sorry, go on.
also no. I would say the kind of the other thing that I saw that was happening with Charlie Kirk was one of his producers on the Charlie Kirk show, someone who's involved closely with the Turning Point USA and everything there, has actually come out. He came out today, basically saying, "Hey, Paramount Skydance, put that show back up. I can tell you from my own conversations, direct conversations with Charlie Kirk, he thought your episode was funny. He thought it made some funny points, and he had a good time with it. Put that episode, but there's no reason to take that down."
I
Right?
don't think I only think that they took it down from linear. I don't think they ever removed it from the app itself.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he basically had said that it's that, put it back up. Charlie Kirk thought this was funny. He thought it was all in good humor. You do not need to take this down in honor of him or whatever. Like, it's okay if this episode gets aired that says the stuff that's in it. He thought it was funny. He genuinely, we laughed about it around the water cooler kind of thing,
That's
right? He
what
thought it
that's
was
what
funny.
I said. I mean, if you remember, we saw some clips of him looking at
Yeah,
it,
we
and I
did.
told you.
Yeah, on his show. Yeah, or on a different show, I think. But yeah,
Right, but
where he was, just
I
having a
told
good
you
laugh.
he wasn't offended by it. He thought it was hilarious, and I will say that I think that what Paramount did is that they removed it from any kind of linear reruns that they sometimes rerun recent episodes on TV. They still, as far as I could tell, continue to keep it on the app. I don't think I ever looked on the app and saw that it was pulled. But even if it was sort of being discussed that maybe they'll pull it, maybe that was a preemptive thing that they're like, don't remove it. This is fine. He thought it was funny. And really, also, I'll tell you something. In that episode that they had Charlie Kirk, I don't think that Charlie Kirk was the thing that they really like bashed so much. I think that
No.
actually it's the Trump thing that they keep doing over and over again. Not that they're not allowed to make fun of him. It just feels like I said, they never really did anything about Biden and Kamala. There were so many jokes that could be told about them. I don't even know if I ever even saw these guys on the show.
Mm-mm.
I don't even know if they had characters that they were even mocking them at all. And then it's one thing if you do an episode and you completely do crazy thing with Trump's, and then like do other episodes. Here we've only had a number of episodes, and it's like all in over and over again, and that's the part that's kind of just exhausting. It feels like they've run out of ideas. I wonder if this whole situation that happened will cause them to pivot and just have a whole different thing going on this season, or they're going back 100% to the same stupid thing over again.
Yep.
We'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, that was definitely interesting. And I
Alright.
guess
Yeah, I think that was about all. That was something that just sort of came to mind. I was still had X open, was scrolling through some stuff, and I went, "Oh yeah, meant to say something about that." So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Basically, yeah, people in his organization, people who are close to him, saying, yeah, to put that back up. You don't need to take that down. There was nothing about that that offended Charlie. There's nothing about that needs to be buried away or whatever in his honor. feel free to keep that up. So.
I don't know what the context of this thing
Oh,
is.
I was just saying hey to Darren Mai, and he was just saying, yeah, show up at the Nina Infinity show, 11 a.m. PST, if I can, work day and so on. So, yeah, makes things a little harder to show up for things during the daytime. But yeah, might have the opportunity to pop by. But I appreciate the invite, Darren.
Is Darren a mod there? I'm trying to
I
understand.
think so. Yes, he's a mod
okay.
over with Nina Infinity.
Oh, nice. So maybe a Colbert Kimmel team up episode. There's a rumor that they may unite their forces to launch a show or something if they're both fired.
Oh, they should go on YouTube and start their show, and they're gonna get so many views.
That'll be funny if they try to arrive on YouTube. That'll genuinely be funny.
Oh, well, YouTube would welcome them with open arms. You know they would. And they'd get all the viewers, and they'd get all the views, and they would have all the ads. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we've done everything we could today. And I want to thank everybody for joining us as always. And thank you, Professor, for hanging out with me.
Sure.
Co-hosting the show with me. And it's always a pleasure doing what we do here. And today, I guess, is Thursday. So we'll see you all here on Tuesday. And Thursday, the Night Owl at 11:45 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. And then
I am Nino's mod. Feel free, folks. Please show up.
Yeah. Come in, like I said, if that's the kind of thing, like, data stuff that happens during the day, it's like, well, do I have work or not? Whatever. My hours are flexible, but boy, I'm really in it right now. I was telling my wife earlier tonight, oh my God, I just have no time for anything at all. I'm so busy. I'll just, before we head out, I'll just remind everybody, tomorrow night,
Stephen Mack.
Tomorrow night, B-roll stage over on both Rumble and on YouTube. I'll be doing the B-sides with Adam and Babs and Smilex. Argentum, our friend, going to join us tomorrow night. We're going to be doing. I'm not even sure what we're doing. He said TV party is the theme. I don't know. It's not a movie. So I don't know what Adam's got in store for us. But we do Mystery Science Theater, kind of riffing on stuff, kind of experience over there. So come hang out with us. B-roll stage on Rumble, YouTube, and on Twitch as well. So come hang out. All right. Oh, Price is busy posting links.
Yeah, no, I posted a link because on my main channel, I had so many things go on today. So if anybody isn't subbed over there on the YouTube side and you feel like supporting me, if you haven't already subbed to my main channel, you should definitely do it. There was, I don't want to sound like one of those, my channel was under attack today, but that's kind of what it seemed like. Anyhow, good night to everybody. Nice seeing everybody here, and definitely show up and go see what Professor is doing with B-roll. It's fun, and you should check it out. And good night to everybody.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
Bye.